転生
This is a recommendation by Best Recon Fox 1571. What if Naruto was in the Inuyasha Universe Movie 1? Odyssey of the Half-Demon Princesses and the Maelstrom by Windstorm 16. Disclaimer, I do not own Naruto or any characters. Start. Standing across from each other were two 12-year-old children, a boy and a girl. The boy had spiky blonde hair, lightly tanned skin, bright blue eyes, and three unique whisker-like marks on his cheeks. His attire consisted of black and gray shoes, dark gray pants, a light purple-gray shirt, and a black jacket. While the girl had messy, short silver hair with a red streak in one of her bangs, fair skin, and had magenta-colored eyes. Along with wearing brown shoes, white pants, a blue shirt with a white collar, and a white jacket. Around both kids were also numerous thugs and delinquents lying on the ground, groaning in pain, while the two looked at each other in annoyance. Hey, I don't know who you are, but this is my turf. So get lost, said the boy, with the girl scoffing and crossing her arms. Why don't you do me a favor and shut up, Blondie, cause you're about as intimidating as a kitten. Besides, you're probably just all talk, like the rest of the losers have knocked to the ground. The girl retorted, making the boy growl in annoyance. Why don't you shut up? And my name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm gonna be the great street fighter in all of Japan. And I don't care if you're a girl, if you don't get lost now, I'm taking you down just like the rest of these assholes. Said Naruto, while motioning to the thugs on the ground, with the girl not looking scared or worried at the threat. Yeah, I'm sure you're real tough. You probably talked for so long, they passed out from boredom. Taunted the girl, with Naruto glaring at her. I'll make you eat those words, along with your teeth. Naruto retorted as both kids glared at each other. Though unknown to them, the image of a large demonic dog appeared behind the girl, while an equally large demonic dragon appeared behind Naruto. Both creatures growling and roaring at each other, respectively. The two then charged at each other, both of them throwing a punch that connected against the other's cheek, the resulting impact sending both of them flying back and knocking them down onto their backs. Something that shocked Naruto and the girl, that the other managed to hit them, even more that it actually hurt as well. Though Naruto soon got back up to his feet and charged the girl again, refusing to let a single punch take him out. Only for the girl to counter Naruto, by bringing her knee up to his chin knocking his head back. Before she got back on her feet as well, before grabbing him by the collar of his shirt and pulling her fist back to punch him. But Naruto managed to block her punch, with him then grabbing the wrist of the hand holding his shirt, pulling the girl in close and headbutting her, followed by bringing his knee up into her stomach, causing the girl to gag from the strike. With this allowing the two to break apart and jump back, putting some space in between them, the girl holding her stomach in pain. Before swiped the corner of her lips with her thumb after feeling something dripping from it, while Naruto spit out some blood from his mouth. I'll admit, you're actually pretty good. The girl stated, seeing he wasn't just talk and he did know how to fight. Thanks, I guess you're doing pretty good too, for a girl. Replied Naruto with a taunting smirk, with the girl scoffing. Please, if I was really trying, you'd already be on the ground. Retorted the girl. Then why don't you show me? After all, it wouldn't be as fun to beat you if neither of us were trying. Naruto said, making the girl smirk. Fine, just don't cry when you end up on the ground. Said the girl, as both got ready again, neither willing to back down or lose the fight. The two looked at each other for a moment, before rushing each other, while the only sound being heard in the area is the sound of pounding flesh. Later. By the time Naruto and the girl were done fighting, the sun had begun to set, while both kids were lying on their backs. Both of them being covered in bruises and other minor injuries, along with some slight tears in their clothes, the two panting in exhaustion from how long they'd been fighting and that they were actually challenged and won. Okay, you're really good, that was the first time I actually met someone who could keep up with, much less push, me in a fight. Naruto said, with the girl nodding in agreement. Yeah, I didn't think anyone would be able to challenge me like that. It was actually pretty fun to find someone that wouldn't go down after a few hits. Replied the girl, as they both sat up and looked at each other. I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto introduced again, while offering the girl his hand, which she shook. Tawa Higurashi. Introduced Tawa as they shook hands. Alright Tawa, from now on we're rivals. And I'm not gonna stop until I finally beat you. Said Naruto, making Tawa smirk. Not even in your dreams. Tawa stated, as the two smirked at each other, knowing they won't stop until they beat the other. Flashback. Back when I was little, I had a younger twin sister, and we lived in the forest. A 4-year-old Tawa ran through the forest laughing alongside another 4-year-old girl, with black hair with a red streak, and purple eyes. The two girls laughing as they jumped across rocks, before taking a drink from a nearby stream. Before they continued playing, soon climbing up a tree together. Let's go Setsuna. Tawa said, standing up, before jumping down. Okay. Wait for me, sis. Replied Setsuna before jumping down after her sister. With Tawa spotting a piece of fruit, which she swiftly grabbed as the sisters landed on the ground. Here Setsuna. Want it? Said Tawa, offering Setsuna the fruit, with the rabbinette looking at the fruit in surprise before smiling. Yeah, thank you. Setsuna said, taking the fruit as the twins continued on their way, with Setsuna eating the fruit as they walked through the woods. With the sun soon setting, the twins sat down and watched it together. We were always together, and we got along so well. Tawa and Setsuna slept under a tree, before the former was woken up by the sound of animals crying out, the silverette opening her eyes, only to be shocked when she saw the forest was on fire. Setsuna, wake up. There's a fire. Tawa said urgently while shaking her sister awake, knowing they needed to get out of here. This way. Hurry. Said Tawa, grabbing Setsuna's hand as they ran through the forest. Sis. Setsuna said in worry and fear as the forest burned around them. It's okay. Just follow me. Come on, faster. Tawa said, refusing to leave her sister behind. So why, at that moment, did I let her hand slip away? Unknown to Tawa, Setsuna's hand slipped out from her own, resulting in her sister starting to fall behind. Don't leave me, sis. Setsuna cried out, reaching out for her sister, only to be unable to reach her as she tripped and fell. Something Tawa realized when she didn't feel her sister's hand anymore or heard her running with her, as the girl stopped and turned around. Setsuna! Setsuna! Tawa shouted while turning back to get her sister. You came back, said Setsuna, seeing her sister came back for her. Are you okay? I'm sorry I ran ahead like that. Tawa said quickly, before hugging her sister, worried that she almost lost her, not hearing the sound of a tree falling, though Setsuna saw it. Ah! Sis, get out of the way. Setsuna yelled, pushing Tawa away so she wouldn't be crushed by the tree, just as the burning tree crashed to the ground between them. Tawa looking in fear and worry at not being able to see her sister anymore, before jumping over the tree, only to not see Setsuna anywhere. Setsuna, where'd she go? Said Tawa, looking around, before sniffing the air to catch her sister's scent, only to smell nothing but smoke and ash. Sis, where are you? Shouted Setsuna from somewhere in the forest, getting Tawa's attention as she looked to where her voice came from. Hang on, Setsuna. Tawa shouted, rushing to try and find her sister. Sis, come on, where is she? Setsuna, yelled Tawa as she got up on a rock to try and find Setsuna, only to gasp when her left eye emitted a silver light while a rainbow portal opened up behind her and began sucking her through it. Tawa tried grabbing hold of a root in the ground, only for it to break as she fell through the portal. Setsuna. Tawa cried out to her sister as the portal closed behind her. Modern era. It took me a while before I realized what happened. I had been catapulted through time. Tawa soon woke up to the feeling of a cat licking her face, only for the girl to look around in worry and confusion, when she saw she wasn't in the forest anymore, not recognizing where she was. What's going on? Where am I? Tawa muttered before looking up at the tree she was standing in front of, only for her attention to turn to a man approaching her. The man had black hair with distinctive bangs on the right side, pale skin, and brown eyes, while wearing a white polo shirt, a red tie, dark blue pants with a black belt, and black shoes. Hello there. You okay? You're not lost, are you? The man asked, smiling kindly while bending down to Tawa's level, with the silverette looking at him warily. My name's Sota Higurashi. And what's yours? Said Sota. Tawa. Tawa introduced slowly, with Sota smiling at her. Nice to meet you, Tawa. Sota said before going to ruffle her hair, only to stop when Tawa recoiled away from him. Though when Sota looked at her more closely, he realized it wasn't where she was from, but when she was from. The man, not thinking he'd see anyone else from the feudal era again after his sister, Kagome, returned there, and the bone eater well disappeared. So that's it. You came from a very far off place, didn't you, Tawa? Sota stated, smiling as he stood up and looked up at the tree, with Tawa looking up at him in surprise. I don't know why, but at that moment, I knew I could trust this person. Please help. I'm looking for Setsuna. Can you help me find my sister? Tawa asked, hoping he'd help her try to find Setsuna, with Sota looking at her before crouching down and offering his hand. Of course I will. Why don't we go look for her together? Suggested Sota, knowing if Tawa and her sister both came to the present, then he needed to help them find each other. Tawa looked at the offered hand in surprise, hesitating to take it before taking it in her hand. Papa Sota helped me search, but we never did find Setsuna. End flashback. Time skip 2 years. It's been 10 years since then. Papa Sota ended up adopting me, and as part of the Higurashi family, I go by Tawa Higurashi. My memories have faded over time. Lately, I've been thinking that maybe that day was all just a strange dream. But one thing's for sure, Setsuna was definitely not a dream. That much I know. Tawa, now 14 years old, yawned as she got up, wearing nothing but boxers and a sports bra, and walked over to the door leading to her balcony. Her room being filled with workout equipment, punching bags, bakken and kendo swords on the wall, including a replica of the Kikujumanji, and a few trophies. Such nice weather. Well, time to brush my teeth. Tawa stated, knowing she'll be starting her new school today, before heading to the bathroom. Bye, Daddy. Someone said. Have a great day. Replied Sota from the kitchen. Morning Tawa. Said the person, as Tawa turned around to see a young girl. The girl had long light brown hair, big brown eyes, and a warm skin tone, wearing a pink button-up shirt, with a purple vest over it, a dark pink skirt, pink socks, and a red backpack on her back. Huh. Oh, good morning May. Tawa replied while smiling at May. It's your first day at your new school, isn't it? Try not to get into any fights, okay? I'll see you back here later. May said while waving at Tawa as she left. Don't worry. I won't fight, said Tawa, smiling and waving at the girl. That was May, Papa Sota's daughter by blood. She can be a little shy and naive, but she's also cute, smart, honest, and actually pretty talented. My sweet little sister. After finishing in the bathroom, Tawa returned to her room to get dressed in her school uniform. The uniform consisting of a light graphite dress shirt with a red ribbon underneath a white suit with violet accents. She wears matching white pants with a brown belt and brown shoes. But maybe, the reason I cherish May so much is because she's a substitute for Setsuna, whom I never found. Grabbing her bag and putting it over her shoulder, Tawa exited her room and prepared to leave. I'm heading out. Tawa called out to Sota. Have a great day. Hey, wait. Hey, Tawa, why are you wearing a boy's uniform to school again? Sota asked, seeing his adopted daughter was wearing a boy's uniform again, despite her now being enrolled in an all-girls school. You really wanna know the reason why? It's easier to fight in, obviously. It's an all-girls school this time. Don't you remember what we discussed about no more fighting? Sota reminded. Yeah, of course I remember. See you after school. Replied Tawa as she left, but knowing it wouldn't matter if she's going to an all-girls school, it wouldn't stop the fighting. Not long after getting outside and beginning her walk to school, Tawa stopped when she heard footsteps approaching her, only to smile slightly when she saw Naruto approaching her. Seeing he was wearing black boots, dark gray purple pants, a gray shirt, and a black jacket. Hey Tawa. Naruto greeted, while smiling at the silverette. Ever since they met 2 years ago, they had stayed rivals and always fought each other, trying to finally beat the other, only for things to usually end in a tire being cut short. Though over time, they began seeing each other as friends, becoming closer the more time they spent together. Even beginning to hang out whenever they could, instead of only to fight or train. Hey Naruto, I was just on my way to school. Said Tawa, with the whiskered blonde nodding before raising a brow at her uniform. Did you get transferred to a new school or something? Questioned Naruto, since that wasn't the uniform that she wore before, with the girl nodding as they walked beside each other. Yeah, I'm now going to an all-girls school, so I should be wearing the girls' uniform. But the boys' uniform are always easier to fight in and are less likely to get in the way. So I'm sure I'll be hearing problems about it, soon enough. Tawa replied with a shrug, since she never was one for feminine clothing, feeling they were either too loose, too tight, or too revealing for her taste. Well, I think you look really great in it, no matter what anyone thinks. Besides, it helps you stand out, at least more than you usually do, which makes it easier for me to find you. Stated Naruto, seeing that Tawa looked better the way she usually dressed, than if she dressed like a regular girl. With his words catching Tawa off guard, not expecting the compliment, before she looked away with a light blush on her face. Thanks. Tawa muttered, while feeling a little happy that Naruto thought she looked good the way she dressed, while Naruto soon blushed at realizing how his words could have come off. Leading to the two continuing on their way, walking in silence while not making eye contact with each other. So what are you doing? Shouldn't you be getting to school too? Or is it just in the same direction as mine? Tawa asked after a few moments. Oh, I actually dropped out. Naruto said in a rather nonchalant manner, causing Tawa to trip and face fall onto the ground at how casually he said that. Why would you do that? Tawa demanded in an alarmed voice, not believing he'd actually drop out of school. Because it's my dream to become a world-class street fighter, not some suit-wearing salaryman. Replied Naruto, while Tawa stood up and dusted herself off. Okay, I understand that, but aren't you worried? If you aren't in school, then people will start seeing you as some kind of delinquent. Stated Tawa, only for Naruto to scoff and scowl at her words. Like it would have changed anything, if I decided to stay. Naruto retorted bitterly, making Tawa's eyes widen for a moment, before gaining a solemn expression, knowing that he's right. Not many people in Japan look like us or dress the way we do. Which makes us targets for other delinquents and thugs, and because we fight back, we're seen as delinquents ourselves. Just because we know how to fight back in the way we look. Tawa thought, since it's actually the reason she's been transferred to an all-girls school, to try and stop her from getting into fights. But it won't matter, and nobody seems to get it. Transferring to an all-girls school won't stop the fighting. Thought Tawa, before she and Naruto suddenly stopped when they saw 5 thugs standing in front of them, thugs they recognized as ones they'd beaten up in the past, before. Finally found you, Higurashi, Uzumaki. Said the leader of the group. Word is you transferred schools again and you just flunked out, like a loser. The short one said. Sounds like you're trying to run away from us. Said the big one. You can't dodge us that easily. The tall one added. Ready to go. Said the other short one. Anyone we beat just keeps coming back for more. Tawa thought while finishing her train of thought. Like we'd need to run from dumbasses, like you. Naruto retorted, not at all intimidated by the 5. And who said we were running away? Added Tawa, knowing where this was going and that it wouldn't take very long. Later. Tawa ducked under a punch from the big thug before punching him twice in the chest, followed by kicking him into the bridge they had started fighting under. With the big thug slumping to the ground unconscious. Think you're so tough? Well, let's see how you like this. Shouted the leader charging Tawa to punch her, only for the silverette to spin around him and kick him in the side of the head, sending him tumbling to the ground. With Tawa then grabbing his arm and forcing it behind him, before she began bending it in a way it couldn't bend, making the thug cry out. No wait. You'll break it. Mercy. The leader begged, making Tawa stop as she realized what she was about to do, before looking at Naruto, who was leaning against the bridge. You know you could have helped. Tawa stated, with the Uzumaki shrugging and pointing at the 2 short thugs and the tall one. You had it handled, besides, I got the 2 short idiots and the tall idiot, while you got the big idiot and the lead idiot. I'd say that's fair. Though with how quickly they went down, I'm beginning to question that. Replied Naruto, since it didn't take long for them to go down, leaving him to watch Tawa beat up the other 2. Well, I still have to get to school, see you Naruto. Tawa said while grabbing her bag and heading for school. See ya Tawa. Replied Naruto, waving at her before taking his leave as well, leaving the thugs to pick themselves up. I swear, those 2 ain't human. The big one groaned, not believing how strong Naruto and Tawa were. I'm surprised they didn't finish us off. Said the first short one, having thought they'd finish them for good this time. Higurashi's too soft to do something like that, Uzumaki's the one that'd finish us. Stated the tall one, knowing between the 2, Naruto's the one who'd be more likely to finish them off. And he only doesn't because she doesn't. Even then, we still can't beat them. The second short one said, given if it wasn't for Tawa being so soft, then Naruto would have put them down by now. We can if we get bro to help us out. We'll go after Higurashi first, then deal with Uzumaki next. Said the leader, before they all limped away to get their boss to help them. None of them noticing that Naruto hadn't completely left, having stayed behind the bridge support after hearing the thugs start talking. Peeking out and narrowing his eyes at them, Naruto made a mental note to keep an eye out on Tawa and her adoptive family in case they tried anything. Feudal Era. You guys are demon slayers. Who knew there was a job for something like that? Said a 14-year-old girl, sitting a river and waterfall, while surrounding her were several people wearing uniforms and carrying weapons. The girl was a young woman, though being rather short in stature, with long black hair that is tied into a ponytail, with 2 locks of it sticking out on each side of her face, brown eyes, fair skin, enlarged canines, and clawed fingernails. Wearing a red robe with short sleeves and short leggings, a red ragged cape, red hair ribbon, a pair of red leg warmers with black bows, and red fingerless gloves. The girl also wasn't wearing any shoes. This was Moroha, with her currently being hunted by demon slayers due to being one-quarter demon herself and them believing she was a full-blooded demon, responsible for terrorizing the locals. I mean, I had no idea. So, I guess you're here to slay me, Inuyasha. Moroha stated before standing up and laughing. Don't make me laugh. You guys could never beat me. Not in a million years. In fact, I'll turn you all into lunch for my Karakaramaru. Said Moroha before drawing her sword and smirking at the demon slayers. Better get ready. Moroha said, eager for the chance to get a challenge from these guys. Moroha, the demon killer. Someone shouted, getting Moroha's attention as she looked up in confusion, seeing a teenager riding a two-tailed nekomata. The teen had a light skin tone, dark hair pulled back in a ponytail, and indigo eyes. While wearing the traditional armor of a yokai taijia, which consists of a black skin-tight jumpsuit, green armor plates made of yokai bones that include a pair of black teko arm guards and soon 8 shin guards, and a green tint obi sash around his waist to carry hid wakizashi. Along with holding a giant boomerang behind his back. This was Hisui, a demon slayer like his mother and uncle, Sango and Kohaku. Having inherited his mother's Haraikatsu and working with her loyal nekomata, Karara. We're here on behalf of the local villagers, and they've sent us to punish you. Haraikatsu. Said Hisui before throwing Haraikatsu at Moroha, who jumped over the boomerang as it went back to Hisui. The local villagers sent you. Sorry, but you've got the wrong target. I haven't come down from these mountains for a while. See, I'm waiting for my bounty to show up. Moroha revealed, knowing she wasn't who they're looking for. A demon and a bounty hunter. All the more reason to fight. Shouted Hisui as he directed Karara to charge Moroha. Wait, Hisui. Said someone, jumping in front of Hisui and Karara stopping them. The person was a man with fair skin, spiky brown hair that's styled into a topknot, brown eyes, and a scar running across the bridge of his nose. The man was wearing a lavender kosode with long sleeves, and he wears a brown vest over it. He wears black baggy pants, white socks, and getas. His yokai taijia is identical to the one he wore when he was younger, and he wears a short black shoulder cape over it, tied with a yellow string. What's wrong, Uncle Kohaku? Hisui asked, wondering why his uncle stopped him. Lady Moroha, am I to understand that some other demon is responsible for attacking the local village? Kohaku asked, with Moroha sheathing her sword. That's what I just said. But it's too late to stop now. You've made me mad, and for that, you'll have to pay the price. Moroha said, pulling out her shell compact showing red rouge inside. With this rouge, I will become Inuyasha, the destroyer of lands. Tremble before the bloodthirsty dawn. Moroha said, about to apply the rouge to her lips, only to freeze when a blade was held close to her head, though it wasn't the blade that made her freeze, but the scent she caught from the person. Hey, looks like you demon slayers work with an interesting companion. Stated Moroha as she looked at the person. It was a young woman, the same age as herself, though being taller with fair skin, long black hair with a hint of red, tied in a high ponytail, and violet eyes. Wearing a navy kimono-like skin-tight jumpsuit, along with dark violet armored plating on her chest, waist, left shoulder, and elbows. The elbow guard serves as a place to store small-scale demon slayer equipment. She also wears a lavender sash around her waist to carry a short sword. A large white fur over her right shoulder, which is split in 2 tails near the end. She also wears dark violet boots with lavender trimmings and matching white fur near the top. You're a Hanyo, aren't ya? Well, guess what? Moroha said, sensing this girl was a Hanyo. Silence. You're going to die. The girl cut off, before Moroha drew her blade again and blocked her naginata. Kanamitsu no Tomo, huh? Pretty fancy naginata you got there. It's only fair, if I win this match, that I get to keep it. Said Moroha, not feeling perturbed at this girl trying to kill her. Setsuna. I'll back you up. Said Hisui, flying down to help Setsuna. That's not necessary. Setsuna replied, doubting she'll need help. Oh, so your name's Setsuna. Alright, I've made up my mind. Sorry, Setsu, but I'm taking your weapon. Moroha declared, pushing the Naginata back before backflipping away from Setsuna. Moroha then jumped towards Setsuna swinging her blade, which the Ravenet blocked with her Naginata's pole. Oh wow, so you actually saw through that. This might be fun after all, Setsu. Stated Moroha, not expecting Setsuna to block her, only for Setsuna to gasp as her right eye glowed gold, surprising the quarter demon. Wait a sec. Are you kidding? Moroha said, not expecting this before jumping back. I don't believe it. You have a rainbow pearl, too. Questioned Moroha, not expecting to come across someone else, who had a rainbow pearl. What are you talking about? Setsuna said in confusion and feeling herself fall into a trance. Before either of them could say anything, they felt the ground rumbling, before what looked like a massive centipede burst out of the ground. Only the top part of it was a pale woman, completely naked, with long black hair and small pupils and eyebrows like Japanese princesses. Along with possessing 6 arms and a third eye on the center of her forehead. Give them to me. Give me your rainbow pearls. The demon shouted, sensing Moroha and Setsuna both possessed rainbow pearls. So, that's the one that's been attacking the village. Retreat. Kohaku called out, sensing this demon was stronger than they could handle. Hand them over. I want those rainbow pearls. Demanded the demon, while charging towards Moroha and Setsuna. Look out. Hisui shouted, having Karara fly down and get Setsuna out of the way, when she didn't move. Setsuna. You alright? Hisui asked, as Setsuna came out of her trance while her eye stopped glowing, before getting onto Karara's back. Mistress Three Eyes. I knew you'd show yourself, sooner or later, cause you could never resist this. Moroha stated, smirking, while opening her compact and showing the red pearl inside, with Mistress Three Eyes laughing giddily at the sight. There it is, the red pearl. Mistress Three Eyes said, eager to have the rainbow pearl. You're the one I've been sitting around here, waiting for. That bounty's mine. Say good night. Shouted Moroha, drawing her sword and jumping up, slicing at the demon's shoulder, only to see her blade didn't even cut into her. You're a bit tougher than that I thought, which means new tactic. Said Moroha before jumping back and taking out her bow, while knocking an arrow, knowing this'll work on the demon. Hey, demon slayers. If you don't want to get mixed up in this, better get lost. Stated Moroha, smirking as she aimed at Mistress Three Eyes. Say what? Hisui said in confusion, only for his uncle to direct him away. Take this. Heavenly Arrow Barrage. Said Moroha, firing her arrow as it glowed pink, which Mistress Three Eyes dodged and laughed at. You missed, you fool. Ah, Mistress Three Eyes said, only to look up when the arrow returned and multiplied, with dozens of sacred arrows raining down and stabbing into her body, while the demon slayers were shocked at the sight of Moroha using sacred arrows. Are those sacred arrows? No, those are the arrows of sealing. How could Inuyasha have the spiritual power to use those? Kohaku muttered, while Moroha danced around at seeing she dealt with Mistress Three Eyes. I did it. Moroha cheered, only to suddenly stop at seeing the demon was still moving, before her compact suddenly flew away from her. What the hell? Hey! Shouted Moroha, trying to grab it back, only for Mistress Three Eyes to take the red pearl out and swallow it, causing her to grow fangs as her power increased. I want more. I want the other rainbow pearl, now give it to me. Mistress Three Eyes demanded before looking at Setsuna, sensing it was in her. Hisui, try and get Mistress Three Eyes to follow you back to Lady Kaide's village. Kohaku instructed. You got it, uncle. Replied Hisui, before having Karara fly away, with the demon following after them to get the rainbow pearl Setsuna had. Damn you. Give me back my red pearl, right now. Demanded Moroha, rushing after Mistress Three Eyes, refusing to lose her red pearl. Later. Hisui and Setsuna soon arrived at Kaide's village by nightfall, with Mistress Three Eyes still pursuing them. Give me the pearl. The demon shouted gleefully. I think we drew it far enough away. Hisui stated, as Setsuna looked at him. Hisui, I'm getting off here. Said Setsuna, refusing to keep running and knowing the demon was after her. Are you serious? Demanded Hisui in disbelief. It's following me for the pearl in my right eye, I'll use that to my advantage. Setsuna replied before jumping off, with Hisui calling after her as she did. You can't escape. Yelled Mistress Three Eyes, turning her attention to Setsuna as she landed on the ground. Take this. Cyclone burst. Setsuna shouted, spinning her naginata around and creating a massive cyclone of wind, sucking Mistress Three Eyes into the cyclone and electrocute her. How dare you? Mistress Three Eyes screamed in pain and anger. I am Setsuna. These are the only words I have for you. I am the reason you will die tonight. Declared Setsuna, only for a red wave of energy to suddenly disperse her cyclone. Crimson Dragon Wave. Moroha shouted with her sword drawn. What the you again? Setsuna demanded in annoyance at seeing Moroha followed them. Sorry, Setsuna. I know you wanna take her down, but I got first dibs. Got it, said Moroha, refusing to let anyone else steal her bounty, making the demon slayer scoff. Ridiculous, muttered Setsuna, rushing towards the demon, only for her to grab her and her naginata. Come to me, my lovely gold pearl. Mistress Three Eyes hissed, with Setsuna recoiling when she licked her face, before gasping as her eyes shined gold again as the gold pearl emerged from it and was eaten by the demon. This is marvelous, stated Mistress Three Eyes, feeling her strength grow even more at having a second rainbow pearl. That bastard absorbed the gold pearl, too. Moroha shouted, knowing this'll be even more difficult now that she has two rainbow pearls. The demon power of the rainbow pearls is already combining with my own. Mistress Three Eyes said as she transformed into a hideous monster form and began squeezing Setsuna with her centipede half. Can't break free. Setsuna grunted as she tried escaping the binding. Hey, looks like absorbing the red and gold rainbow pearls has made old Three Eyes even stronger now. Don't worry, I'll be right over to get you out, Setsu. Said Moroha, much to Setsuna's annoyance. Stop calling me that. Setsuna shouted, not sure what was worse, the demon about to eat her or the one that won't stop calling her, Setsu. But before anything else could happen, the tree of ages behind Moroha began glowing a bright blue before a rainbow-colored portal opened up behind her. What is that? Moroha said, before she was suddenly sucked into the portal. What's happening? Demanded Mistress Three Eyes as she and Setsuna were sucked in as well, with the portal soon closing behind them. Modern Era Higurashi Shrine. Meanwhile, back in the modern era, Tawa had rushed to the Higurashi Shrine, after catching the scent of Mei crying and where it was coming from. Knowing her sister was in danger and refusing to let anything happen to her or her adoptive grandparents. Soon arriving to see the delinquents from earlier had tied Mei and their grandparents up to a tree, having taken them hostage. It's our lucky day, boys. That chick's gonna learn her place for roughing up your gang. Said the boss, as Tawa arrived with the replica of Kikujumanji, having been cleaning it when she smelled her sister crying. Am I really? I guess we'll see. Said Tawa, angry that they took her family hostage, just to get back at her and Naruto. Tawa, you're here. Said Mei through the tape on her mouth. Mei, Grammy, Grandpa, hold on. Tawa said, swearing she'll save them. If you're looking for a lesson, I'll be happy to help. Said Tawa glaring at the thugs, knowing she won't go easy on them this time, while the boss simply laughed at her threat. Get her. The boss shouted, as the tall one, short one, and big one charged at Tawa. Only for the tall one to get Tawa's knee slammed into his chest, followed by an elbow to the back, the short one grabbed and thrown over her shoulder, and the big one having Tawa's elbow slammed into his chest. All three of them falling to the ground, groaning in pain at the assault, while Tawa faced the last one standing. You're pretty good, honey. But I don't think you understand the situation. Right, said the boss, looking to the other short one, who pulled out a switchblade and held it at Mei's throat. Mei. Tawa said in worry for her sister, but didn't make a move, not wanting them to hurt her sister. I hope you haven't forgotten the fact that we've taken a few hostages. The boss said tauntingly, as Tawa scowled before catching sight of someone sneaking up onto the short thug with the switchblade, making her smile at seeing it was Naruto. And I hope you haven't forgotten, you lost to us. Retorted Tawa, just as Naruto grabbed the delinquent's arm holding the switchblade and pulled it back away from Mei's throat. Before he forcefully broke it at the elbow, making the thug drop the weapon and scream in pain at his arm being broken. You know, if there's one thing that really pisses me off, it's a bunch of punks like you, picking on those weaker just to feel tough. Especially when you get children involved. Well, let's see how tough you are, after this. Naruto said, grabbing the thug by his collar before headbutting, breaking his sunglasses with the shards stabbing into his eyes, blinding the delinquent who screamed in agony at the loss of his eyes. Before he then thrown at his friends, who looked terrified at what Naruto just did to him, while the whiskered blonde used the switchblade to cut the ropes around Mei, Mrs. Higurashi, and Grandpa Higurashi. So, looks like it's just the two of us against a bunch of thugs. Stated Naruto as Tawa walked up beside him. Yeah, seems kind of unfair, for them anyway. Tawa replied. What the hell are they? The big one shouted in fear. They're not human. And we can't beat them, said the tall one, knowing this wasn't a fight they could win. Let's get out of here. The short one screamed as they grabbed their fallen ally and ran away, aside from the boss and the leader from earlier. Get back here, you cowards, yelled the leader, angry that they were running away. Come on, Mei, let's go, said Mrs. Higurashi, not wanting her granddaughter to see the fighting. Please, you both have to stop fighting, Mei begged, not wanting Tawa and Naruto to fight anymore. It'll be fine, only one of us could handle this, both of us is simply overkill, assured Tawa. Yeah, your big sister is pretty strong, Mei. So you don't have to worry about her getting hurt, Naruto added. You can't. I don't care if you're strong. If you keep doing things like this, you'll never stop fighting, ever. I know you'd rather do cute and girly things, instead of fighting all the time, right? Come on, admit it, cried Mei, as Tawa stumbled slightly, embarrassed at her adoptive sister's words. To be honest, Mei, there's a part of me that isn't ready to answer that question for you, just yet. Tawa said, embarrassed that they're actually talking about this now of all times. You're supposed to say yes, even if you don't mean it, Mei shouted. Sorry. I'm really sorry, said Tawa, as Mei began wailing. You're a dummy. You know that, Mei yelled, much to Tawa's further embarrassment. And, the moment's ruined. But this so funny, I don't even care, thought Naruto, trying not to laugh at the scene in front of him. While the delinquents were dumbfounded at what just happened, not expecting this to suddenly happen. Only for them to stiffen at the sound of approaching sirens. The cops, shouted the leader in worry at hearing police sirens, before they both ran away before cops could arrive, believing someone called the cops on them. Though when Grandpa Higurashi went to check the entrance, he saw the cops weren't coming to the shrine, and instead only driving past to somewhere else, making the old man laugh slightly. Looks like those police were only passing by. Fancy that, Grandpa Higurashi stated before looking back to see his great-granddaughter hugging her sister, with Tawa comforting the crying Mei. You big dummy. You said you'd never get into fights again, Mei shouted, as Tawa hugged her. You're right. Please forgive me, Mei, said Tawa, comforting her sister, knowing she didn't like her getting into fights, as she'd be treated as an outcast even more than she already was. While Naruto smiled at the sight of the two sisters, before Mrs. Higurashi approached him. Thank you for arriving when you did, Naruto. If it hadn't been for you, something could have happened to Mei, Mrs. Higurashi said, having been worried for her granddaughter. No problem, Tawa and I already ran into those guys earlier, and I overheard them saying something about getting help. I'm just glad I arrived in time to help out, replied Naruto, glad he was able to help. Well, still, if you want, you're more than welcome to spend the night here, offered Mrs. Higurashi, wanting to repay him for his help. If it's not too much trouble, then all right, Mrs. Higurashi. That'd be nice, Naruto said, especially since he didn't really have anyone waiting for him at home, having never even known his parents. And combined with his blonde hair, blue eyes, lightly tanned skin, and whisker marks, it didn't make living in Japan very easy. Though suddenly, a gust of wind blew past them, causing Tawa to stiffen as she suddenly caught a familiar scent, with the silverette looking at the Tree of Ages. What's going on? Tawa muttered, wondering where the smell was coming from. Tawa, said Naruto, noticing his friend's look. I don't like it, Mei said, feeling uneasy as she looked at the tree. What's going on? I know this smell, said Tawa, only to gasp and quickly pull Mei away from the tree, just as a rainbow portal opened up in front of it. Oh my, how peculiar, Grandpa Higurashi said, seeing the portal open, not having seen something like this before. Tawa, what is that thing? Mei asked in confusion and fear at the sight of the strange portal. Before anyone could do anything, Setsuna, Moroha, and Mistress Three Eyes fell through the portal, much to everyone's shock. That light, I know that light. That unbelievable bright place from my memories, and this smell. Setsuna, Tawa said as her left eye glowed silver, as she realized the smell was her sister, her twin sister. What? Who could be calling my name? Setsuna muttered weakly. Damn it. Why do I feel so weak? Is it 'cause I came through the rainbow portal? Muttered Moroha, barely able to stand up before collapsing to the ground, while Mistress Three Eyes shrieked in glee. Wonderful, everything is perfect. The silver pearl is here as well. Now I'll have a pearl for each of my three beautiful eyes, Mistress Three Eyes said, sensing another rainbow pearl nearby, before turning her attention to Tawa, sensing that the pearl was coming from her. Setsuna, I'll save you. Shouted Tawa, rushing forward to save her sister, refusing to lose her again after finally finding her, drawing her blade as she jumped towards the demon. With a shout, Tawa swung her blade, only to be shocked when it immediately broke on contact with the demon. Impossible. This thing's broke my Kikujumanji. Tawa said in disbelief at how easily this thing broke her sword and didn't even have a scratch to show for it. Though she didn't have time to think further on this, as she flipped over Mistress Three Eyes, dodging her lunge, before Naruto managed to daze the demon by delivering a dive kick to the side of her head. Tawa, any idea what this thing is? Naruto asked, feeling completely lost at what's happening, yet saw how Tawa didn't seem that surprised at the portal's appearance, along with seeming to know one of those girls. How did that thing break my Kikujumanji? Said Tawa as she looked at her broken blade, not hearing her friend's question. What the hell are talking about? This thing ain't no Kikujumanji, it's a total knockoff. I mean look at it, the blade patterns are completely wrong. Moroha said, holding the broken off piece of the blade, seeing it's nothing but a copy. Knockoff? Tawa asked, not thinking her sword was just a replica of the Kikujumanji. Give it to me. I want the silver rainbow pearl you have in your possession. Hand it over. Demanded Mistress Three Eyes while releasing Setsuna. I can't move. Setsuna muttered, unable to move her body. Silver. What are you talking about? Tawa said, not knowing what the demon's talking about. Give it to me. Mistress Three Eyes screeched before lunging at Tawa. You broke my Kikujumanji. You hurt Setsuna. Shouted Tawa as her eye glowed silver, followed by a blue energy blade, much the surprise of Moroha, Setsuna, Naruto, and the Higurashi family. Even more so, when Tawa swung the energy blade and stabbed it into the demon's stomach, actually piercing straight through Mistress Three Eyes, making her shriek in pain. That is so cool. Naruto exclaimed in starry-eyed awe at seeing Tawa with what essentially looked like a lightsaber. I know, right. She created a demon energy blade with her own power. Moroha said in amazement, as Tawa pulled her sword out with it returning to a broken blade. Huh. Did I really do all this? Tawa wondered, confused at what just happened. Hey, you! Hurry up and finish her off, already! Moroha shouted, her amazement being replaced by annoyance that Tawa wasn't finishing the demon off. What? I don't want to be a killer. Retorted Tawa, not wanting to actually kill someone, even if the thing clearly wasn't human. This isn't the time to hesitate. Said Moroha. Just kill it already or it'll kill us. Setsuna said, wondering why she's hesitating on killing a demon. What? Setsuna, Tawa said, not expecting her sister to tell her to kill something, only for her eyes to widen in fear when the demon turned to her family and rushed towards them. Only for Naruto to jump in front of Mistress Three Eyes and stab the demon in her third eye with the switchblade he swiped from the thug. Mistress Three Eyes shrieking in agony at the strike from Tawa and now her third eye being stabbed. Even more so, when she started feeling demonic energy seeping through the knife, into her head. Why yo you bb bo boy, yo yo you hh ha have de demonic en energy. Hh how? Mistress Three Eyes yelled, now sensing that Naruto possessed demonic energy. What the hell are you talking about? Said Naruto, as the demon laughed. Yo you dd don't even, kn no. Th that po power, th that r raw, pr pre-primal, ma malice. It's just like, said Mistress Three Eyes before she began disintegrating, until only her skull and the rainbow pearls were left.
Well, at least one of you knew not to hesitate. Setsuna stated as her strength began returning. Woohoo! I can finally move again, said Moroha, standing up as well and went over to join Naruto and Toa. Before they saw their rainbow pearls fly over to them, with Moroha gladly taking hers back, while Setsuna watched as her gold pearl flew back into her eye. Naruto, are you alright? Toa asked, looking at her friend in worry, with Naruto nodding shakily after a few moments. Why yeah, I'm fine. Just, realizing I really killed someone, even if it was a giant, man-eating, bug, monster, thing. Said Naruto, shaken at just having his first kill and what the demon said. Demon, that thing was a demon, and you shouldn't feel bad. You did the right thing in killing it. Setsuna said, getting the others' attention, as Toa went up to her sister. Setsuna. Toa said smiling at her sister, only to stop when she pointed her naginata at her and Naruto, narrowing her eyes at them. However, it would seem that both of you are demons as well. But first, tell me, how do you know my name? Who are you? Demanded Setsuna. wanting to know how Toa knew her name. What? Setsuna, it's me Toa, your sister, don't you recognize me? When we were little you called me sis. We grew up together in the forest, we got separated during a fire, because Toa said before stopping, still hating herself for letting go of Setsuna's hand, while Setsuna looked at her blankly, not having any recollection of what she talked about. You'll forgive me if I don't believe you, as I don't have a sister nor do I have any memories of ever knowing you, said Setsuna, much to Toa's shock, hurt that her sister didn't remember her. The Silverette wondering what could have happened to her after they were separated. No one said or did anything as Setsuna pointed her naginata at Naruto and Toa, much to the whiskered blonde's annoyance. Not only at the weapon being pointed at him and his friend, but that she had also upset Toa as well. Leading Naruto to walk up and grab the naginata, before shoving it away from them. Why don't you put that thing away before you hurt yourself? And second, why don't you also explain what the hell is going on? And why you were even pointing that at us to begin with? Naruto demanded, glaring at Setsuna, who narrowed her eyes at him, worrying Toa and her family that a fight may break out between them. Thankfully, the tension was broken when Moroha held up the skull of Mistress Three Eyes. Hey, you don't care if I keep the head, do ya? Moroha asked. Given she didn't make the kill, she wanted to make sure they didn't mind her keeping it to collect the bounty for Mistress Three Eyes. No, just take it, said Setsuna, not caring if she took the head or not, with Naruto looking at the skull, remembering what the demon said about him having demonic energy. What did that thing mean anyway? About me having demonic energy? That can't be true, can it? Naruto said, given he doubted he could have demonic energy or any kind of power like that, only for Moroha to get close to him and sniff him. Actually, you do have some. I can smell it on you now that my strength's back. But it's pretty faint, so it's not likely you're a Hanyo. But I won't be surprised if you turn into one later on, once you properly unlock and start using your demonic energy, that is. Said Moroha, now being able to sense Naruto did possess some latent demonic energy inside of him. Could that actually happen? Naruto asked, honestly not sure on how to feel about that, learning he could potentially turn into a Hanyo. There have been cases of humans that are of demon descent, being able to awaken their own latent demonic powers. But it usually doesn't happen for a century or two. For yours to begin awakening after this many centuries, you must have had a powerful ancestor for their power to still linger inside of you. Revealed Setsuna, while Moroha sniffed Naruto again and grinned. Oh yeah. While it's faint, the power inside you is still pretty potent and intense. I bet that you have to be descended from a Daiokai for you to start awakening your power. Moroha stated, with Naruto nodding slowly in acceptance at this, before looking back at Setsuna with narrowed eyes. And you still haven't answered me? Why did you point your weapon at me and Toa? 'Cause if you're really the same Setsuna that Toa told me about, you two were as close as sisters could be. Now you're acting like you were going to kill her, said Naruto, still angry at Setsuna for acting hostile to Toa, with the Silverette putting a hand on his shoulder before stepping forward, looking at her sister in sadness. Setsuna, I'm so sorry, because this is my fault, isn't it? You're angry because I let go of you that day. That's why you're acting cold, treating me like a stranger. I don't blame you though, but we are sisters, we grew up together, played together in the forest, and you always called me sis. The day we were separated, there was a fire, I let go of your hand, but I went back for you. Then you pushed me away from a tree that was falling towards us, and then we lost each other. That's the truth, Setsuna. Toa said, stepping forward, only for Setsuna to jump back. Setsuna, said Toa, only to see her sister still looking at her with narrowed eyes. I already told you, I don't know who you are nor do I have a sister, and if you value your life, then don't take another step, Setsuna threatened. Toa, I think she may be telling the truth, that she really doesn't remember. With how you two were separated and how long it's been, she must have lost her memories due to the trauma of just how you were both separated, said Grandpa Higurashi, getting everyone's attention before they began thinking about it, knowing that may be the most likely reason why Setsuna doesn't remember. That does make the most sense, Naruto stated, given if Setsuna was just acting cold to Toa, then she'd probably wouldn't go as far as to threaten to kill her. Probably. I mean, if that happened to me, I'd want to forget everything too, said Moroha with a shrug. Toa and Setsuna didn't say anything, as they continued looking at each other, the Silverette's guilt and self-loathing only increasing at hearing this. Knowing it's her fault that Setsuna doesn't remember anything, now only seeing her as a stranger. While for Setsuna, it didn't really matter to her, having never been concerned on why she couldn't remember her childhood. I have to try and fix things. Toa thought, walking towards her twin, wanting to do something to try and help her, with the ravenette narrowing her eyes at her. I warned, now you're dead, Setsuna said as her eye glowed gold before she swung her naginata at Toa, only for her to lean back and avoid her strike, before jumping back to dodge all her other strikes as well. Stop running, demanded Setsuna. Not a chance, you're acting like you really want to kill me, Toa retorted, not believing that even without her memories, her sister would really try to kill her. Because I am, Setsuna said, like it was obvious and would have tried to attack again, only to feel something holding her weapon, before looking to see Naruto glaring at her while holding her naginata. You aren't killing anyone, and I thought I said to put this thing away before you hurt yourself, said Naruto, with Setsuna glaring at him. You can't tell me what I can or can't do, and I've been trained to use the Kanamitsu no Tomo since I was a child. The only ones who get hurt are those that I'm aiming to hurt, Setsuna retorted. Ah, how cute, you named your toy. Do you name all your toys, or is this one just special? Naruto taunted, much to Setsuna's growing anger. It's not a toy, it is an ancient weapon used to slay demons and complete fools, like you, yelled Setsuna, getting angrier than she's ever been before. Yeah, you're really intimidating, so intimidating that you haven't even taken it back yet, replied Naruto, the ravenette growling as she tried taking her weapon back from Naruto, only for him to refuse to let go. Let go, right now, Setsuna demanded, with the Uzumaki shrugging in response before he smirked. Okay, Naruto said, letting go, with the resulting momentum causing Setsuna to fall flat on her back, making the Hanyo glare murderously at him as she stood up. You did that on purpose, shouted Setsuna. Hey, you said let go and I did. Or maybe you hit your head a little hard there and got amnesia again. Naruto stated tauntingly, with Setsuna shaking in rage, before Moroha got between the two with Mistress Three Eyes' skull. Come on guys, let's be friendly here, especially you, Setsuna, said Moroha while using the skull as a puppet. What's the harm in letting her near you? And Whiskers there is right, you gotta relax Setsu, Moroha said. Silence, Setsuna yelled, refusing to deal with both of them at the same time, with the quarter demon simply looking at Naruto and Toa. I'm Moroha, by the way. My bounty hunter buddies call me Moroha the Demon Killer. It's nice to meet you both. So, what are your names? Questioned Moroha since they hadn't gotten to learn their names. Toa Higurashi. Toa introduced. Naruto Uzumaki, and I'm glad to know one of you has polite manners, said Naruto, directing the last part to Setsuna, who merely glared at him in pure annoyance. Toa, huh? Okay Toa, are you really Setsuna's sister? Moroha asked. Of course I am. I'm her older twin, but we got separated in a forest fire 10 years ago, answered Toa, refusing to have anyone doubt that she and Setsuna are sisters. Well, there you go, Moroha stated while looking at Setsuna, seeing that Toa was telling the truth, along with feeling their demonic energy was similar enough for them to really be twins. I've been alone ever since I can remember, retorted Setsuna, still not believing this claim of them being sisters. Can't imagine why, you have such a sunny disposition, Naruto said sarcastically. I will kill you, Setsuna hissed, swearing she'll make him suffer. Ah, and here I thought we were just starting to get along Setsu, replied Naruto as he smirked at her, the ravenette merely growling. Yeah, but both of you are Hanyo, Moroha said while raising her sword to block Setsuna's strike. And when you're as good as I am, you can tell just from the feel of your demon energy. See, Setsuna, you're a Hanyo. I mean how else can you explain a rainbow pearl being in your eye? Which makes you a Hanyo too, Toa, said Moroha, while looking at the silverette. I'm a what? Toa asked, never hearing that term before until just now. A Hanyo is someone who has the blood of both a demon and a human. Naruto here isn't a Hanyo, not yet anyway. Only demon descendant at the moment. You and Setsuna though have much more recent demon blood, going by how strong it is, and you both have really similar demon energy, which only further proves that you're both sisters, said Moroha before sniffing Toa again. And if I'm not mistaken, which my nose never is, your dad's the Daiokai Sesshomaru. Am I right? Said Moroha in excitement that she's meeting the daughters of Sesshomaru. Who's Sesshomaru? Toa asked, having no idea who that is. Setsu? Moroha asked, looking at the demon slayer, who merely looked at them with narrowed eyes and remained silent, making Moroha shrug. Well either way, even if Sesshomaru is your dad, having human blood means you'd still only inherit half his power. And something tells me, that's the main reason Setsu is always so edgy. stated Moroha, making Setsuna's eye twitch in annoyance, which Naruto took notice of, making him smirk. Is that why you chose such a big weapon? You're hoping it'll make you look as strong as your big sister and daddy dearest? Naruto asked teasingly, as Setsuna looked at him warningly while clenching her fists. Shut up, Setsuna said through gritted teeth. Don't worry Setsu, I'm sure big sister Toa can keep you safe with her cooler and more useful demon sword, Naruto assured, while Setsuna was doing her best at restraining her temper. I told you to shut up, Setsuna said slowly. You alright Setsuna? Your face is looking a little red, maybe you need to lie down, said Naruto, smirking, as the Hanyo's eye twitched rapidly. You stupid, arrogant, annoying, smug, stupid, how is he doing this? Setsuna mentally screamed, wondering how he's able to get under her skin so easily when she's usually able to keep her composure, no matter what the situation is. Yet she hasn't even known Naruto for an hour and already wants to simply beat his annoying face in. Regardless of heritage, blood, or power, if you're truly my older sister, then you can prove it to me with your strength, Setsuna stated, aiming her naginata at Toa, wanting proof that she's her sister by seeing how strong she is. I don't need to prove anything, because I'm not lying, retorted Toa, refusing to fight her sister or prove anything, when it's the truth. Empty words mean nothing to me, said Setsuna, preferring actions over words. Sister of the year people, sister of the year, Naruto said sarcastically. You stay out of this. And you stay out of it too, said Setsuna, glaring at him before turning to glare at Moroha, when she moved to try and speak as well. None of the girls noticing something burrowing underground, before jumping out towards Toa to bite her. Toa, Naruto said, seeing the creature jumping towards her, leading to him pushing her out of the way, grunting in pain when the demon instead bit him. Naruto, shouted Toa in shock and worry for her friend, getting Setsuna and Moroha's attention at seeing the demon vanishing while purple scar-like markings appeared around his left eye. Is that a, Setsuna said, readying her naginata, while not expecting to see another demon in this era. Hidokan, and looks like it just made him its host, and it seems to be waking up more of his demon energy, said Moroha, adding the last part at sensing Naruto's demon energy began growing. Well, isn't that just great, stated Setsuna in annoyance. See, this is what we get for letting our guard down, Moroha said, just as annoyed that they let down their guard and couldn't sense the Hidokan. Forget that. Is there a way to get it out of him? Toa asked in worry for her friend, while drawing her demon energy blade. Yeah, cut it out, said Setsuna before rushing forward, eager for the chance to knock around the whiskered blonde. Only to be shocked when Naruto appeared in front of her, before gasping in pain when he slammed his foot into her stomach, sending her flying back. Setsuna, are you alright? Said Toa, grabbing her sister before she could hit the ground. I'm fine. The Hidokan's begun awakening more of his power and it knows how to use the power of whosever body it's in, Setsuna said, standing up while rubbing her stomach at the impact. What's going on? Why is Naruto attacking you three? Mrs. Higurashi asked in worry. Stop it, what are you doing? Said Mei, not liking what she was seeing. That's not Naruto, he's being possessed by a demon, you three, just stay back, Toa said, not wanting her family to get caught in the fighting. Beating the Hidokan isn't the problem, it's that it can use the powers of whoever it's inside, and we have no idea what kind of powers he has. This is so damn annoying, said Moroha, before jumping out of the way to dodge a blast of blue and black demonic energy from Naruto. Naruto then grabbed Toa's energy blade, surprising Setsuna and Moroha that he could hold it without being injured. Naruto, please, I know you're in there, somewhere, are you really going to let some parasite demon control you? Toa demanded, hoping to get through to her friend. Only to cry out, when the Hidokan jumped out of Naruto and bit her, before vanishing as the same purple markings appeared over her eye. What the, Toa? Naruto said in worry for his friend, when he saw the markings going through her eye, before he was pulled back by Moroha. And now the Hidokan's inside her, wonderful, Moroha said sarcastically, before seeing Toa turn her attention towards Setsuna, jumping at her and swinging her energy sword, which extended towards the Ravenet. Setsuna jumped out of the way and onto the roof, surprised at seeing the blade grow and extend like that. I see, interesting. That's your demon energy's true potential. Then perhaps I'll treat you as a worthy opponent, said Setsuna, running and jumping onto the training area for more space. Hey, I already told you, you aren't going to hurt her, Naruto said while running up to where Setsuna and the possessed Toa were fighting, along with Moroha. Yeah, you aren't seriously gonna kill your sister, are you? Questioned Moroha, with Setsuna not wavering at their words. Anyone standing against me is my enemy. Cyclone burst, Setsuna said, spinning her naginata around and creating a large cyclone that began sucking everything in, with Naruto and Moroha holding onto the railing to avoid being pulled in. While Toa looked at it before jumping right into the cyclone, before swinging her blade and cutting it in half, causing it to disperse. What? Impossible, said Setsuna, not believing she'd be able to dispel her cyclone before seeing Toa diving down towards her. Crimson Dragon Wave, shouted Moroha swinging her sword, releasing a crimson energy dragon, forcing Toa back before she or Setsuna could attack each other. That was uncalled for, this is my fight, Setsuna said. Yo, Setsuna, you're a demon slayer aren't you? Shouldn't you have like a potion or something to weaken the Hidokan? Moroha asked, preferring if she didn't jump straight to killing Toa. Before Setsuna could respond, Toa rushed towards her before slashing her sword at her repeatedly, the Ravenet blocking her strikes with her naginata before the Silverette began pushing her back. Luckily, Setsuna was able to push her energy blade aside and swipe at her, only for Toa to jump away and kick off a railing to take another swing at her, with Setsuna deflecting the attack, sending Toa skidding back across the area. Scourge of Swallows, said Setsuna, swinging her naginata up, releasing numerous green energy-shaped swallows at Toa, who channeled more power into her sword and swung it, creating a shield that blocked the swallows. Setsuna taking the chance to jump up and attack her from above, with Toa flipping out of the way and dodging the attack. Toa, you have to stop, Mei cried out, having escaped her grandmother and great-grandfather to try and help her sister, not wanting to see her fight. Mei, get out of here now, said Naruto, not wanting her to get hurt, knowing Toa would never forgive herself if she hurt Mei. Mei, Mrs. Higurashi said, running to get her granddaughter away from the fighting, with Grandpa's Higurashi following after her. Toa looked at Mei before the Hidokan emerged again and lunged at the little girl, biting her eye with Mei crying out in pain. Mei, said Mrs. Higurashi, only to gasp when Mei looked at them, showing the markings going through her eye. Damn, that bastard. It transferred over to the kid, Moroha said, angry at the Hidokan possessing the kid now. Mei, oh no, said Toa as she got up, seeing her adoptive sister picking up a rock. Mei, what are you doing? Mrs. Higurashi said in worry. Is she being controlled? Wake up Mei, said Grandpa Higurashi, in an attempt to try and get through to her, only for Mei to keep approaching them. Hold it right there. You figured a small child would be easier to control. How foolish. Setsuna stated, knowing that now the demon didn't have access to any power and was helpless inside Mei's body. What are you planning to do? Grandpa Higurashi said. Don't worry, I'm going to cut out the Hidokan, revealed Setsuna, much to their shock and horror. You can't, Toa shouted, jumping over Setsuna, refusing to see her twin sister hurt her adoptive little sister. Don't touch her, I won't let you scar her face, I've already troubled to this family, and I won't trouble them even more than I already have, said Toa, since they wouldn't even be here if it wasn't for her fighting those thugs, not wanting to put them in any more danger than she already has. Tisk, such naivety. Setsuna muttered, not believing she'd stop her from dealing with the demon. What did you say? Demanded Toa, not believing her twin would say that, only to feel something hitting her, before looking down sadly at Mei, hitting her with the rock. Mei, this is my fault. I'm so sorry, Toa said, hugging her adoptive sister, not caring about being hit by the rock. As long as you're alive, you will always trouble someone, whether you mean to or not, stated Setsuna annoyed at her naive personality. Hey, stop that. Grandpa Higurashi said. That's your sister, said Mrs. Higurashi. It's fine, it's alright. It'll be alright, I promise, Toa said, not letting go of her sister. Setsuna looked at the scene for a moment, before closing her eyes and spinning her naginata around. Moon of the Resting Moth, Setsuna said, summoning a swarm of moths that released a golden powder over the Higurashi family, causing them to fall to the ground unconscious. When the moths vanished, Setsuna went to walk over to them, only for Naruto to grab her by the collar. What did you do to them? Naruto demanded, glaring at her, while wanting to know what Setsuna did to his friend and her family. Did you kill them? Questioned Moroha, jumping down, with her question only angering Naruto further. Did you just kill them? Said Naruto, swearing to make her pay if she did, not caring if she's Toa's twin or not. Arresting moth's powder only makes you fall asleep. They're far from dead. Setsuna revealed, before pushing Naruto's hand off her, with the Hanyo then opening up her elbow guard while looking at Mei, seeing a spiritual version of her appear. You saved us. Thank you, just this once, stated Setsuna, pulling out a green packet before dropping it over Mei, sprinkling a green powder, causing the purple markings to vanish as the Hidokan appeared screeching in pain as it tried slithering away, only to shrivel up and die. Looking at the Hidokan for a moment, Naruto suddenly bashed Setsuna on the back of her head, sending the Hanyo crashing to the ground. Ah, what the hell was that for? Demanded Setsuna, angry at the sudden attack while Naruto glared at her in annoyance. Why the hell didn't you do that to me and Toa when we were possessed? Instead, you just went straight to trying to kill us. And why did you threaten to cut Mei's face open, when you could have just done that? Naruto retorted, as Setsuna got up and got in his face. Hey, I got rid of the damn thing, didn't I? That's more than you did. Getting possessed like you did. Why don't you try saying thank you? Shouted Setsuna, with the two glaring at each other. At least I saw the thing coming and refused to let Toa be possessed, yelled Naruto. And look how great that turned out, she got possessed immediately after you. I guess the Hidokan didn't want to stay trapped in that fat head of yours, Setsuna retorted. It also didn't try possessing you. I guess that possessing a kid would have been less annoying, Naruto said. You would know. You probably have the mentality of a toddler, when compared to her, yelled Setsuna, while pointing at Mei. At least I don't try to cut a kid's face open, Naruto retorted. At least I actually did something smart and didn't let myself get possessed, shouted Setsuna. The two glared at each other with lightning sparking between them. Hey, while you guys are having your lovers' quarrel, is it fine if I take the Hidoken? Moroha asked, smirking in amusement, while Naruto and Setsuna snapped out of their arguing, blushing at her words while realizing just how close they were, making the two hastily step away from each other. Shut up. Naruto and Setsuna muttered, before glaring at each other again, while Moroha snickered to herself at the sight. Later Higurashi Kondo, did Toa already go to bed? Asked Mo Higurashi, Soda's wife and Mei's mother. Yeah, she said she was really tired. Soda replied, knowing their adopted daughter would be tired after everything that's happened. I bet. Things sure have taken an interesting turn. Mo stated, looking over the broken Kikajumanji, along with the skull of Mistress Three Eyes and the Hidoken's body, while Soda laughed sheepishly. I mentioned it before, didn't I, that demons were real? Said Soda, having told his wife about demons being real, which she thankfully believed rather than thinking he was crazy. Yes, you did. I've always believed you, so that's not an issue. Although this Kikajumanji, on the other hand, I had been holding on to this for the museum for safekeeping. But that's life. We've had it this long, so we'll just keep holding on to it. Said Mo, not that concerned about the sword, simply glad that everyone was safe. Toa's room. Meanwhile, Naruto and Setsuna were inside Toa's room, with the demon slayer looking out the window, and Naruto sitting at the desk under Toa's bed. With there simply being an awkward silence between the two, only occasionally glancing at each other before quickly looking away. I really wish Toa was awake, thought Naruto, glancing up at his friend's sleeping form, wishing she was awake to help ease some of the awkwardness. Living room. Mommy, listen. We need to talk about Toa, right now. You're not gonna believe this. Toa's powers are so cool, you should have seen it. And Naruto's too, they both moved really fast and jumped really high. Toa had a cool sword, that looked like a lightsaber, and Naruto could use energy attacks, like an anime character. Mei said, excited at the powers Naruto and Toa had. Yeah. I have to admit, I already knew she could do extraordinary things. But I wasn't expecting Naruto to have powers too or have demon blood at that. Said Soda, since he always believed that Naruto was human, so it was surprising to learn he's descended from a demon. Oh, I'm not too worried about Toa and Naruto. Those have been troublemakers for years now, so I'm used to it. Besides, at least I know they'll be able to take care of each other. Mo said, with Soda nodding in agreement with his wife. I guess you're right. What we really need to talk about are those girls from the other era. Soda stated, given one wasn't only Toa's missing twin sister, but the other, if his mother and grandfather were correct, was his niece, Kagome's and Inuyasha's daughter. Woo! That felt awesome, Moroha said, exiting the bathroom after taking a hot bath, having never experienced something like that. with the quarter demon coming out completely naked, with only a towel around her shoulder, causing Mo to cover Soda's eye, while she and Mei were blushing at the sight. "You wanna know what? I've never splashed around in hot water, like that," said Moroha, grinning, while not seeing the problem with her current nakedness. "Oh, how nice for you. Well, it's getting late, what do you think? You ready to turn in?" Mo asked quickly. "Good idea, I think I will. Thank you, but damn, that was really amazing," said Moroha as she headed for Toa's room. Toa's room. "By the way, my mother, grandfather and I have a theory about that girl. We thinks it's possible she's the daughter of my big sister, Kagome, and Inuyasha," said Soda, with Naruto and Setsuna overhearing them through the walls. "Oh, that would mean we have a new relative on our hands," Mo said. "If we're right, then yeah," Soda stated. "Well, letting the girls stay a while shouldn't be a problem in that case," replied Mo. "Yay, now I don't have an older sister and older brother to play with, now I have 2 more older sisters as well," Mei cheered, causing Naruto to chuckle at the girl's excitement, before smirking at Setsuna. "So Setsu, how's it feel knowing you and Toa are Moroha's cousins?" said Naruto, making the Ravenette narrow her eyes at him. "What are you talking about?" Setsuna demanded, not knowing how they could be cousins. "Just that your dads are half-brothers. Toa and I heard stories from the Higurashi family about Kagome's trips to the past, along with meeting Inuyasha, and the sibling rivalry between him and Sesshomaru. Meaning that you and Toa are Moroha's cousins," Naruto said, with him and Toa having initially believed the stories were made up but seeing that there might have been some truth to them. "Wonderful," muttered Setsuna, releasing a huff of annoyance at the idea of being related to Moroha. "And tell me, just how long do you plan to try and provoke me?" Setsuna asked, with Naruto merely smirking at her. "As soon as you learn to lighten up and develop a sense of humor. And who's trying, Setsu? From where I'm standing, it seems like I'm pretty successful at getting under your skin," Naruto replied, making the Hanyo glare murderously at him. "I swear I will," Setsuna shouted, only to be cut off by the door opening and in walked the naked Moroha. The sight catching both Setsuna and Naruto off guard, both of them blushing at the sight, with the latter also getting a nosebleed. Something that made Moroha gain a teasing smirk before she began posing provocatively in front of Naruto. "Like what you see?" Moroha asked slyly, before turning around and sticking her butt out in front of Naruto, the whiskered blonde's face glowing red at the sight, though he didn't try to look away. "You're just a pervert and you're just shameless," stated Setsuna, unamused at the sight. "Hey, she's the one that just walked in here naked and started posing, what else am I supposed to do? It's a natural reaction to something like that," Naruto said in his defense. "Speaking of natural reactions," said Moroha, pointing at Naruto's pants, where there was a bit of a bulge at the crotch, causing Setsuna to look at the Uzumaki with an unamused expression. "I can't control it, what else did you expect, after she walked in here like that? It's a natural reaction for teenage boys," said Naruto in his defense, while trying to hide his embarrassment. "Would you all shut up?" Toa shouted, having been woken up by the ruckus while looking at them all in annoyance, only to take notice of what's going on, with the naked Moroha and Naruto's reaction to her, causing the Silverette to give them both a dry glare of jealousy and annoyance, with Moroha simply smirking and Naruto looking at her with wide eyes. "I swear, it's not what it looks like," Naruto said quickly. Living room. While back in the living room, Soda, Mo, and Mei all heard what was going on, with the 3 gaining deadpan expressions and sweat drops. "Well, it's good to know they're getting along," Soda stated. Later, Toa's room. After everyone had calmed down, with Moroha now wearing the white robe she wears under her robe of the fire rat, with them now making small talk to try and get to know each other better. "Setsuna, Toa said to try and speak with her sister, only for Setsuna to interrupt her. "Stop. Even if what you've said is true and we are twin sisters, this is not something I can so readily accept," said Setsuna, still having her doubts that they're sisters. "Come on, just accept it already. You saw how much demon power she had, along with both of you having similar demon energy. The way I see it, she can't be lying," Moroha stated, knowing they were twins. "Their power shouldn't prove anything, the fact that they're sisters and grew up together should, and the fact they're twins. Along with how Toa's spent the past 10 years trying to find you, blaming herself for not being able to hold on to you," said Naruto, narrowing his eyes at Setsuna. "Naruto, Moroha, it's fine, as far as she believes, we're complete strangers that just happen to have similar demon energy, and some similar features," Especially if Setsuna did lose her memories from the trauma of the fire and our separation. Toa said, not blaming her sister for not believing her. It has nothing to do with any of that. It's the fact that there's no way that someone who indulges in idle slumber, like you do, can be related to me by blood, stated Setsuna, making Toa flinch in hurt and feeling disheartened that the reason her sister doesn't believe her is because she sleeps. Oh, we're so sorry, we didn't know people from the feudal era were paranoid to the point of insomnia. Sorry that we like to relax here, in the modern era. No offense to you too. Naruto said sarcastically, before adding the last part at remembering that Toa and Moroha were from the feudal era, even if the former hasn't been there for 10 years. It's fine, but thanks for revealing that new information, Setsu. You've never slept, have you? No, it's not that you haven't slept, it's that you can't. Moroha said, smirking while having had her suspicions, much to Toa's surprise. But she slept all the time when we were kids, said Toa. Maybe, but she can't anymore. Her dreams were eaten by the dream butterfly. You're under a nasty curse. A butterfly in the dream world managed to escape over into ours. And because of that, you can never fall asleep, let alone have any dreams, ever again. Revealed Moroha, much to Naruto and Toa's shock, with the former now feeling like a dick at what he said. I'm sorry that happened, and for what I said, I didn't know you couldn't fall asleep at all. Naruto said, now feeling bad that Setsuna couldn't sleep or dream. It doesn't matter, I wasn't even aware of this to begin with, and it changes nothing. The inability to sleep is a benefit, if anything, allowing me to always be vigilant and on guard. Stated Setsuna, not caring if she couldn't sleep or dream. But that's not all, the reason you don't have memories of your childhood is because they were also stolen by the dream butterfly. That's why you can't remember. Moroha said, knowing that's why Setsuna showed no care for her sister. While Toa was shocked and devastated at this. Setsuna can't fall asleep? And she's unable to dream? She had her memories stolen from her? All of this? Everything she's had to endure happened, because I let go of her hand. It was all my fault. Toa thought with tears in her eyes, as her guilt and self-loathing became even worse at seeing just how much her sisters unknowingly suffered, all because she couldn't hold onto her hand. Toa, you couldn't have known this would happen, don't blame yourself, said Naruto, putting a hand on the Silverette's shoulder, not wanting her to blame herself for something she couldn't have known would happen. Setsuna, Toa said, getting Setsuna and Moroha's attention. What can I do to make Setsuna sleep again? There has to be a way for us to lift the curse, so she can go back to having dreams, said Toa, refusing to believe there wasn't a way she could help her sister. Yeah, there is. The answer's pretty obvious, we gotta capture the dream butterfly. Moroha replied, as that'd be the only way to restore her dreams and memories. So where do we find this butterfly? Questioned Toa. No idea. But one thing I do know, is that it's not in the world we're in right now, said Moroha. We must return to our own timeline, with haste. Setsuna stated, though not for the reasons they wanted to go back. Yep, first we gotta get back to the feudal era, and then we can capture the butterfly. Easy as that, Moroha declared, not seeing any problems with the plan. What do you mean easy? How do you plan on getting back to the feudal era? Toa asked, since none of them even knew how they ended up here to begin with. Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure the problem will sort itself out. Moroha replied, since if they could end up in the modern era, then there's likely a way back to the feudal era. Well, if there is a way, then I'm going with you. I'll help find the dream butterfly and recover Setsuna's dreams and her memories, said Toa, knowing she had to do everything she can to help her sister. I'll go too, Naruto said, much to Toa's shock as she looked at him. Naruto, no. You can't go to the feudal era, it'll be dangerous, especially if there are other demons there. Ones that could be even stronger than Mistress Three Eyes and the Hidokan, Toa said, not wanting her friend, Crush, be put in danger. And I'm not going to let my rival and friend leave me in the modern era, while she's going off to the feudal era. I told you before, I'm always going to have your back, no matter what, that's not going to change in this era or a different one. Whether you like it or not, Toa, I am going with you and will help you in any way I can, said Naruto, determined to follow his friend and help her no matter what, with the Silverette looking at him in surprise. Wow. I've never seen Naruto this serious and determined before. He looks pretty cool, actually. Toa thought, gaining a light blush, while touched at how much he wants to help her. Before the moment was ruined at his next words. Besides, if the people and demons in the feudal era are as strong as you, Setsuna, Moroha, and Mistress Three Eyes, then there's no way I'm passing on the chance to fight them and get even stronger.
Naruto added, smirking eagerly at the chance to fight other people and demons like the three Hanyo, while Tawa immediately face-faulted at his words. You damn idiot, are you crazy? We don't know what we'll encounter, there will probably be demons much stronger than us. And you're gonna just to fight them. Tawa shouted, glaring at him in annoyance, with Naruto returning the glare. Oh, like you wouldn't do the same, if you didn't have to go butterfly hunting. Retorted Naruto, making Tawa growl at him. That's not the point. It's that it'll be dangerous, and you clearly aren't thinking about the dangers that we'll encounter there. Said Tawa. Ha. So you admit that you would fight the demons and people there. Naruto said while smirking. I admit that you're a dumbass, who couldn't fight his way out of a paper bag. Tawa yelled. And I admit that you couldn't beat a three-legged, blind poodle. Naruto shouted as they glared at each other. Says the idiot who'd lose a fight against a brick wall. Retorted Tawa. As the two argued, Moroha and Setsuna looked on in amusement at the scene, the latter being pleased to see she wasn't the only one that got annoyed by the whiskered blonde. So, Setsu, how do you like having even more proof that you two are sisters? You both get annoyed by the same guy. Moroha stated, while leaning on the demon slayer, with Setsuna's amusement being replaced by annoyance. Speaking of, with the way they butt heads, I think they may actually like each other. Does that mean you like Naruto too, Setsuna? Moroha asked teasingly, making the twins and Naruto all freeze, while blushing in embarrassment. I'd sooner throw myself into a volcano than liking this fool. Setsuna denied, embarrassed and annoyed at the very notion she'd like someone that annoying. Of course not. He drives me insane, of course I'd never like him. Tawa said quickly. She'd be more likely to kill me. And she's crazy and always attacking me. Naruto said, denying liking either sister. Only to be further embarrassed, as well as annoyed in Tawa's case, when Moroha grabbed his arm and held it against her chest. So, you're single then. Lucky me. Moroha said while smiling slyly. What? Stuttered Naruto as Moroha leaned in closely. And lucky you big boy, you already got to see me naked once. And maybe if you ask nicely, you'll get an even better show. Stated Moroha. What? Tawa growled while gritting her teeth, not seeing Moroha smirk at her anger. This is just too good. Thought Moroha, given she didn't actually have feelings for Naruto, not yet at least. Since she wouldn't deny he is quite the catch, given how good looking he is, along with being a strong fighter and having a good personality. Along with knowing that Naruto and Setsuna don't have feelings for each other either but felt that may change with how easily he can shatter her Ice Queen persona. But those two, they definitely like each other. They just won't admit it, and probably aren't even aware that the other likes them as well. Moroha thought, seeing that Naruto and Tawa did like each other. Though Moroha knew one thing for sure, she had no intentions of losing when they reached that point. Once everyone began calming down and had cooler heads, the two Hanyo and one-quarter demon looked at Naruto. Naruto, I meant what I said, this is going to be dangerous. If Mistress Three Eyes was just a weak demon before getting those rainbow pearls, then who knows how powerful other demons are without them and how powerful they'd be with them. Said Tawa, wanting him to understand just how dangerous the feudal era will be. She's right, these aren't like the street punks you're used to deal with, they won't hesitate to rip you apart, or worse, if they see an opening. Moroha stated, knowing firsthand how dangerous the feudal era is. Agreed. And it's no place for mercy, if you fight, then it's going to be to the death. You cannot hesitate, as your enemies certainly will not. Setsuna said, making Tawa frown in worry at her sister, before looking back at Naruto. And I said I know, and I am prepared to face the dangers. Also, in case you three have forgotten, I'm not helpless myself. Replied Naruto, before holding up his arm as it glowed with demonic energy as sparks of demonic power dancing around his hand. We're aware. But don't forget, that the more you use your power, the closer you'll be to turning into a Hanyo. Setsuna warned, with Naruto nodding as he lowered his arm. I haven't forgotten, but I'm still going. If I become a Hanyo or even demon, or whatever, I don't care. As long as it means I get to help my friend. Naruto said, only caring about being able to help Tawa. Naruto, said Tawa, feeling touched at how far he's willing to go to help her, even willing to put his own humanity on the line. Huh, you're really something else, aren't you Whiskers? Moroha stated, grinning at Naruto, seeing how far he's willing to go for those he cares about. Yes. I suppose you aren't as annoying as I initially believed. Added Setsuna, feeling her respect for the Uzumaki go up. But don't think that just because you have access to your demonic energy, that you know how to use it. For the time being, while we're here and look for a way back to the feudal era, you'll need to be trained in using and refining your power. The same goes for you. Setsuna said, looking at Naruto and Tawa, knowing if they'll be going with them back to the feudal era, they'll need training in refining their demonic powers. And I can help with that. I can even teach you how to use spiritual power as well, since for the time being, you're still human and can use it like me. Added Moroha, while looking at Naruto, who nodded in thanks. Thanks, I appreciate the help. Naruto replied, with Tawa nodding as well. So do I, said Tawa while smiling at her twin sister, hoping this would give them a chance to try and bond again, until they can find the dream butterfly. The group then began making their plans for when they go to the feudal era, knowing they'll have a lot to do for when they get there. Hard to believe, I'm really leaving this place to travel to the past. Naruto thought as he packed away his belongings in his apartment, in preparation for when he, Tawa, Setsuna, and Moroha travel to the feudal era. The Uzumaki making sure to pack the essentials, such as clothes, toiletries, food, and portable equipment to make food with. Along with making sure to also pack stuff for entertainment, as well as inspiration on how to use his demonic energy and spiritual energy. Taking his anime, including his portable Blu-ray player, the former to watch them via DVD and Blu-ray, and the latter to watch some anime he's downloaded to watch offline. Along with his manga, handheld video games, light novels, and some solar-powered chargers, since they'll be in an era without electricity. Gotta be careful, when and where I use this stuff, and make sure no one else gets their hands on it. Thought Naruto, knowing he'll need to make sure no one else gets their hands on any future technology, knowing how disastrous it'd be for the timeline. Though as he was packing, Naruto looked at 2 pictures on his dresser, unsure on what to do with them, before eventually packing them away as well. With him then spotting a Bakken lying under his bed, the whiskered blonde grabbing it and looking over the wooden sword. Almost forgot I had this thing. Naruto muttered, seeing it was still in good condition despite being under his bed for so long, his mind drifting back to when he still used it regularly and was still being trained. Flashback. You're expelling me, shouted a 10-year-old Naruto, sitting in front of his Kenjutsu instructor, Yugao Azuki, looking at her in anger and betrayal. Having just been called into her office, in her dojo, only to hear that she was expelling him, with Yugao sighing while rubbing her temples. Knowing this was how Naruto was going to react to the news, but there was nothing she could do about it. I don't have a choice, Naruto. This is the 12th time you've put your peers in the hospital, most of them being lucky to have made a full recovery. Even if I don't want to, with all the complaints I'm getting, the dojo will be closed down if I don't do something. I'm sorry, but this is the only choice I have left. Yugao said, not wanting to expel Naruto, but she couldn't risk her students leaving or parents pulling their children out to avoid them being sent to the hospital. It's not my fault. I wouldn't have done any of that, if those assholes wouldn't shut up about shit that wasn't true. Naruto retorted, only angrier at hearing the reason for why he was being expelled, with the perplexed sighing again while looking at him sadly. I understand that his death hurt you, Naruto, and that you have a right to be angry that people are blaming you for it, just because of how you look. But he wouldn't have wanted you, his adopted brother, to hurt your peers because of him. He'd want you to move on and keep living your life, not act like how people see you. Said Yugao, with Naruto simply scowling as he stood up, knowing she's already made her decision and there's nothing he can do to change it. And what the hell do you know? You aren't the one being used as a scapegoat, the one being blamed for the death of someone you cared about and looked up to. And go ahead, expel me, I don't need you or your damn lessons. Naruto said, before stalking out of the office and the dojo. End flashback. That was the last time I ever talked to Yugao. And the last time I ever used this thing. Naruto thought, having stopped using his Bakken after that, instead focusing only on hand-to-hand combat, mostly out of spite for Yugao and to show her that he didn't need her lessons to be strong. But given the dangers he'll no doubt encounter in the feudal era, not to mention what else they'll run into along the way, Naruto figured it may be good to get back into using Kenjutsu. Putting the Bakken into a sling on his backpack before he began putting the stuff he won't be taking to the feudal era into some bags. Planning to sell and pawn the stuff off for cash, that he'd then use to get stuff he and the girls could use in the feudal era. Especially, since Naruto wasn't sure just how long they'll be in the feudal era. Which is also why he's cleaning out his apartment, as while he's been able to get by on his rent by doing odd jobs, as a means to make money. There's a good chance that with how long they may be gone, that he may end up missing his rent and get evicted by his landlord. And Naruto didn't want to have all his stuff thrown to the curb as trash. I'm really glad, Mrs. Higurashi and Grandpa Higurashi are willing to let me stay at the Higurashi shrine. Naruto thought, thankful they're letting him stay at the Higurashi shrine until it's time for him, Tawa, Setsuna, and Moroha to travel to the Warring Age. Once his packing was finished, Naruto looked at his now empty apartment. Giving it one last look before turning the lights off and closing the door, for the final time. Later Higurashi Shrine. After arriving at the Higurashi Shrine, Naruto was shown to Soda's old room, where he'd be staying, with Tawa and Setsuna helping him get unpacked and settled in. While Moroha was lounging on the bed and reading some of his manga. I never realized the modern era had so many interesting forms of entertainment. Moroha stated in amazement, not thinking the modern era would have stuff like this, not seeing the annoyed expressions that Naruto and her cousins were giving her. Yeah, by all means, make yourself comfortable. Naruto said sarcastically. It's not like you could help us or anything. Tawa added in annoyance. Or perhaps you simply just know how to lay around, while others do the work for you. Stated Setsuna, the quarter demon looking at them before shrugging and letting out an annoyed huff. Just found out we're related, and you both are already bossing your adorable cousin around. Moroha said but got up and began helping them anyway. Perhaps you two are related, but you've yet to still give me sufficient proof that we share blood. Setsuna retorted, still not believing she and Tao are twins. Are you just allergic to family? Is that why you refuse to accept you're related? Scared you'll get a rash from having a sister that loves you, and a cousin that's trying to get you to lighten up? Naruto asked the demon slayer, causing Setsuna to narrow her eyes at him. I can kill you. Stated Setsuna, which Naruto shrugged. Yeah, you're real tough and scary. Like an adorable puppy that's growling at someone, when really, they just want to be petted. Is that what the puppy wants? Does the puppy want to be petted? Said Naruto in a baby voice, even reaching to pet her on the head, making Setsuna growl and smack his hand away. Try it, and it'll be the last time you ever have hands. Setsuna growled. Ah, the puppy's getting cranky and needs a nap. Naruto said with a smirk. You, growled Setsuna, before taking a breath and looking away, while swearing to get back at him. While Moroha and Tawa watched the interaction, the former with an amused smirk and the latter in annoyance and jealousy at their interactions. Though the quarter demon then spotted the two pictures Naruto had packed, looking at them with a curious expression. Hey Naruto, who are those people? Moroha asked, getting their attention as they saw her looking at the pictures, with Tawa and Setsuna looking at the pictures curiously as well, before the silverette recognized one of the people in the pictures. That's Shisui Uchiha. He's a famous mixed martial arts fighter, known in the ring as Swift Fist Shisui, with how fast he could beat someone before they'd even realize they lost. Tawa said in amazement, having been a big fan of him when she was younger, remembering how she used to always watch his matches with Soda. Yeah, he was also my adoptive older brother. The other people are my parents, Minato Namikaze and his fiancée Kushina Uzumaki. Revealed Naruto, with Tawa's head snapping towards him, looking at the whiskered blonde in shock that he was Shisui's brother. Huh. Well, where's Shisui now? Since I figured we'd have seen him with you, already. Moroha stated, looking at the two, wondering where Shisui was if they haven't seen him with Naruto already, only to see the two look down solemnly. He's dead, he was murdered by a local Yakuza. They tried bribing Shisui to take a dive in an upcoming match, but he refused and they killed him for it. That was probably the first time I used my demonic energy, as I only remember seeing red. And when I came to, I was standing around a bunch of injured and crippled Yakuza members. Which combined with the way I look, it led to me being arrested as well, with most people blaming me for Shisui's death, believing I had a hand in it. Naruto replied, making Tawa, Moroha, and even Setsuna look at him in shock and empathy, not believing he had to go through that and even see it happen. I'm sorry you had to go through that. Said Setsuna, since she couldn't imagine what that must have been like for him, with how young he most likely was as well. Yeah, sorry for asking and bringing up bad memories. Moroha said, feeling bad at making Naruto relive memories like that. Naruto, I had no idea you went through that. I'm sorry you had to go through that alone and didn't have anyone to help you. Tawa said while putting a hand on his shoulder, not believing her friend had to experience something like that, while being reminded of how she lost Setsuna when they were younger. Thanks, but none of you could have known, so you don't have to apologize. replied Naruto, nodding at them in thanks, before his mind went to just before he arrived at the Higurashi shrine, having made a quick stop before coming here. Flashback. Sorry, we're closed for the day, said Yugao at hearing the door open, while she was putting the equipment away, thinking it's someone coming to sign up for lessons. That's fine, I didn't plan on staying long, Naruto stated, making Yugao freeze, before turning around and looking at him in shock. Naruto. Yugao said in shock at seeing her former student here, not expecting him to ever come back after how they left things before. Hey, been a while. I just wanted to come by and say sorry for what I said before. Naruto replied awkwardly, given he'd admit that he might have gone a bit far with what he said, the last time they saw each other. I'm not mad, Naruto, I understand that you lashed out and felt betrayed by what I did. I just want you to know, it was never personal against you. Though what made you decide to come by now, after all this time? Questioned Yugao, wondering what brought on this sudden visit and apology. I'm going to be out of town for a while and just wanted to make amends before I left, so I wouldn't have any regrets when it was time for me to leave. Since I don't know when I'll be coming back. Naruto answered. Or if I'll be coming back at all. Thought Naruto, knowing there's a chance he could end up dying or stuck in the past. Along with the chance that when they did find the dream butterfly and restored Setsuna's dreams and memories, that Towa may choose to stay in the feudal era with her sister and cousin. And Naruto wasn't about to abandon his friend crush, if she chose to stay in her original time period. This made Yugao gain a small smile as she looked at the whiskered blonde. Despite how we haven't kept in touch or seen each other, I still kept tabs on you, Naruto, since it was the least I could do for you. And from what I've seen, I'm sure that Shisui would be proud of how you've turned out. Yugao said, making Naruto nod in response. Thanks, you don't know how much it means for me to hear that. So, see you, Yugao. Replied Naruto before taking his leave. End flashback. So what about your parents? Where are they? Asked Moroha, wanting to change the subject and make up for her earlier question, with Towa and Setsuna looking at her with unamused expressions. You don't really think before acting, do you? Setsuna stated, doubting his answer would be any different than what happened with Shisui. Moroha, I don't want to sound mean, but please think before opening your mouth. Said Towa, knowing that also wasn't a good subject. It's fine, she didn't mean anything by it, and is only trying to ease the mood. Though aside from that picture, I never really knew them, since they died when I was too young to remember them. All I know, is that not long after they brought me home from the hospital, the house they lived in caught on fire. And from what I heard, they died getting me out of there. Said Naruto, making Moroha wince at bringing up even more bad memories. You've been through so much, Naruto. Towa thought, looking at her rival, friend, and crush, seeing that before he met her, his life seemed to be just one tragedy after another. It simply made her more glad for the day they met, that she was able to bring some happiness into his life and be his friend. I'll just, shut up now. Moroha muttered, not wanting to say or ask anything else bad. It's fine, Moroha, you couldn't have known and were just curious. There's nothing wrong with that, so don't feel bad. Assured Naruto, with the quarter demon smiling and nodding at him, thankful he wasn't upset with her questions. Perhaps it'd be best if we went out to train. Setsuna suggested, before any more depressing topics could be brought up, with Naruto, Towa, and Moroha nodding in agreement. Yeah, let's go. I've been wanting to get out and stretch my legs. Said Moroha, not liking being stuck inside all day. It would be good to better figure out what we can do. Towa said, wanting to find out what else she can do with her demonic energy, besides creating her demonic energy sword. Cool, let's go. Said Naruto, eager to start training and learning to use his demonic energy, as well as to find out what he can do. The four exited the room and prepared to leave the shrine and head into the forest, only to stop when Soda and Mrs. Higurashi called out to them from the kitchen. Hey, before you four leave, the test results came back in, if you wanted to know what they were. Mrs. Higurashi said, making the group stop and head for the kitchen instead. The test results being a blood test between Towa and Setsuna, something that Naruto had suggested with how stubborn Setsuna was being about accepting that she and Towa are sisters. The Demon Slayer at first being against the idea, not trusting technology from the modern era or that they could do a fake test. But after Naruto implied that she was scared of being proven wrong, or was refusing to accept the truth, Setsuna gladly let them take a blood sample. If only so she could rub it in the Uzumaki's face that he was wrong, and she was right. said Setsuna, eager to finally show the smug blonde that she was right. It's a match, you and Tao are twin sisters. Sota revealed, making the Hanyo freeze with wide eyes, before slowly looking at Naruto, Moroha, and her now confirmed twin sister. Seeing all three of them had smug expressions, with Tawa also smiling happily at seeing that Setsuna now couldn't deny the fact that they were really sisters. So, how's it feel to finally be wrong for once, cousin? Moroha asked, smirking at the demon slayer. Unless you have more excuses to avoid the truth. By all means, we're eager to hear how you'll avoid it this time. Added Naruto, while looking at Setsuna to see if she'll keep denying it, even after seeing undeniable proof. Shut up, said Setsuna, while blushing in embarrassment and annoyance, knowing if she tries to keep denying it, then she'll only look like a child throwing a tantrum, so she relented at the proof before looking at Tawa. Fine, we're truly sisters. But this changes nothing, it only means I expect more from you when we return to the feudal era, as I refuse to have anyone of my blood look weak. Setsuna stated, willing to accept that they're really sisters, but now expecting more from Tawa in the feudal era. I know, and I won't let you down Setsuna, not again. Tawa said, determined to prove herself to her twin and not let her down, like she did before in the forest. Seriously. You finally got proof that you both are sisters, and that's all you have to say. You really do need to lighten up, Setsu. Naruto stated, not believing that's all Setsuna had to say. Yeah, honestly, we'd be more excited than you, if we had found out we had a long-lost sibling by blood. Come on, at least smile Setsu. Added Moroha, making Setsuna growl in annoyance. Both of you shut up, and stop calling me that. Setsuna said in annoyance, while the Silverette laughed awkwardly at the scene. Given this was a common theme recently, with Naruto and Moroha teasing and taunting Setsuna, especially the former with how he's able to get a reaction out of her. Still, I finally have proof that Setsuna and I are sisters. Even if she still needs to come to terms with it and accept it, I'll wait as long as I need to. And all we have left is to find the dream butterfly, so she can get her dreams and memories back. Thought a smiling Tawa, knowing that's what they really needed to help Setsuna. And she won't stop until they find it. Later. The group had then headed into the forest to begin Naruto's and Tawa's training, with them starting off by training and sparring with their Bakken. As a way to help Naruto get used to using one again, and to see what both of them knew and where they needed to improve. With the two sparring against each other, while Setsuna and Moroha stood off to the side and observed them. Naruto grunting as he blocked a strike from Tawa, only for the Silverette to quickly move her Bakken and hit him on his side. And here I thought you only knew how to use your fists. Tawa taunted while blocking an overhead strike from Naruto, only to wince when he struck her arm before she swatted his Bakken away and began pushing him back. And here I thought, you could only use that big mouth of yours. Retorted Naruto, jumping back when the Hanyo swung at his chest. I'm sorry, you must have me confused with yourself. Since you're usually the one who can't shut up. Said Tawa while pushing her Bakken down onto Naruto's, the whiskered blonde gritting his teeth before managing to force Tawa's Bakken up, allowing him to escape and get behind her. The Silverette grunting when he hit her in the back, before she managed to roll away from his next strike, followed by swinging her Bakken at the back of his legs, bringing him to his knees. Oh look at that, I've gotten you down on your knees in front of me. The position suits you. Tawa said mockingly, only to gasp when stabbed his Bakken into her stomach, knocking the wind out of her. And it seems like I got you bent over, gasping for air. The position suits you. Taunted Naruto, before blocking her next strike as they tried forcing the other back. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or not, but this is just great. Moroha thought while trying to muffle her laughter, as she could just feel the sexual tension between Naruto and Tawa, while Setsuna watched them in intrigue, focusing on their movements and styles. Tawa, you're thinking too much and hesitating to make fatal strikes. If you see a chance to end your opponent, then you need to take it, otherwise they will end you. You can't think in a fight, you need to act and be ready to react to your enemy's attacks. Setsuna said, seeing that her sister seemed to hesitate to make what would be fatal attacks, having seen it before with Mistress Three Eyes when she refused to make the kill. You also need to slow down, Naruto. You rush in too quickly, leaving yourself open to attacks, you must remain aware of your surroundings at all times. Rather than just focusing on what's in front of you. Said Setsuna, seeing that while Naruto was good at reacting and going to strike opponents, he didn't remain aware of his entire surroundings, instead only on what's in front of him. You also need to use your senses to help predict when and where an enemy will strike from. Moroha added, given their enhanced senses would help them in predicting where enemies are, and when they're about to strike at them. With Naruto and Tawa hearing all this as they continued sparring, unaware that things were becoming more intense before they both jumped back. With Tawa's eye flashing silver, while Naruto's pupils started narrowing into slits, with their Bakuns starting to glow before they rushed each other again. Their Bakuns clashing against each other, resulting in a sudden shockwave being unleashed from the clash. With Setsuna's and Moroha's eyes widening, before they rushed in and separated the two before they could go any further. That's enough sparring for today. Setsuna stated, seeing they were beginning to subconsciously tap into their demonic energy, which would result in one or both of them getting seriously hurt. Yeah, let's cool it lovebirds, I think you've flirted enough for one day. Added Moroha with a smirk, while Naruto and Tawa blushed in embarrassment. We were no not lo lovebirds. Tawa stuttered. And we definitely weren't flirting. Said Naruto. Oh please, with how hot and bothered you both were getting, I half expected you both to start tearing each other's clothes off. And right in front of your own sister and cousin, you really are shameless Tawa. Said Moroha as her smirk grew, with Naruto and Tawa's embarrassment only growing at her words. And you wonder why I denied the idea of us sharing blood. Setsuna said while shaking her head, though she did take some enjoyment in Naruto's embarrassment. Yet you still love me. Moroha said, smiling sweetly at the demon slayer. Like a migraine. Retorted Setsuna, before looking at Naruto and Tawa. It seems you both access your demonic energy in heightened emotional states, but given how neither of you have had proper teachers in controlling your power, this would be expected. So the first thing we should do, is having you both learn to consciously tap into and use your power, to avoid it lashing out. Setsuna said, knowing how dangerous demonic energy can be if it's not controlled, given she has to have her own demonic energy sealed away to avoid the risk of losing control. And I can start teaching Whiskers here to use spiritual energy. But we may have to do it alone or we could end up hurting Tawa and Setsu, here. You don't mind being alone with me, do you Naruto? Moroha asked, looking at him slyly while grabbing his arm, while Tawa narrowed her eyes at her in annoyance and jealousy. I don't think I should answer that. Naruto said nervously, having the feeling that no matter what answer he gives, it won't be the right one. You'll train here to lower the chance of anyone finding us by training in different locations. And I doubt he'll be using anything involving spiritual energy that would be dangerous to us. Said Setsuna, making Naruto mentally sigh in relief, while Tawa smiled at her sister. Fine, but we'll still have to some distance between us, just to be safe, you know. Moroha replied, wanting to take the chance to spend some time with Naruto and get closer to him, along with egging Tawa on as the Silverette growled lowly at her. Later. The four had trained until the sun had gone down, with Setsuna and Moroha being impressed with the progress that Naruto and Tawa had begun making. The two picking things up faster than they expected with their lack of previous training in using demonic energy, and spiritual energy, in Naruto's case. With Naruto even developing two new techniques to use with his demonic energy and spirit energy. The spirit gun from Yu Yu Hakusho, or demon gun when he's using his demonic energy. And the Getsuga Tensho from Bleach, when he's using his demonic energy or spirit energy with a sword, in this case his Bakken. Once their training ended, they decided to go to a ramen stand that Naruto and Tawa would visit on occasion, called Ichiraku Ramen. Setsuna and Moroha finding out that it's owned by a father and daughter duo, named Tyuki and Ayame. Naruto, Tawa. Glad to see you both again. Ayame said, smiling at the two as they took their seats. And you brought company. Who are these two young ladies? Questioned Tyuki. I'm Moroha and the grump here is Setsuna. Moroha introduced with a grin, while Setsuna gave her an annoyed look. The best thing to do, is just ignore her and hope she'll go away. Unfortunately, I've had little luck in that regard. Said Setsuna, with the two merely laughing in good nature. Nice to meet you both. So, what'll you all be having? Tyuki said, with each of them placing their orders, with their ramen soon being brought out. So Naruto, is this a date? You couldn't settle for just Tawa and wanted to bring two more girls. Ayame asked with a small smirk, while her father laughed a little at this. That's rather bold of you Naruto, asking three young ladies out at the same time. You must have a way with words, to get all of them to say yes. Added Tyuki. With their words only serving to embarrass Naruto and Tawa, while Setsuna was annoyed and Moroha was amused. with the former two also choking on their ramen, since they weren't expecting the sudden teasing. Oh yes, he has such a way with words. The way he asked, we just couldn't say no, oh it was so romantic. Moroha said, swooning while grabbing Naruto's arm, which only further embarrassed the whiskered blonde. It's not like that. Tawa said quickly, while giving Moroha an annoyed look. It will never be like that, stated Setsuna firmly, not even entertaining the idea of being with someone who annoys her as much as Naruto does. Never say never, Setsu, Moroha said teasingly, with the demon slayer glaring at her in annoyance, with Tawa doing the same along with her jealousy flaring up again. It's really not like that, said Naruto, while wishing for the ground to just swallow him at the moment. Thankfully, the four had soon finished their food, before they paid and headed off to return home. Though not long after leaving Ichiraku's, they were stopped by someone's shout. Hey Uzumaki! Someone shouted, making the four stop to see who spoke, only for Naruto and Tawa to frown at seeing the gang members that took the latter's family hostage, before Setsuna and Moroha appeared with Mistress Three Eyes. What the hell do you dumbasses want? If it's another beating, then come back tomorrow, said Naruto, with the boss growling and stepped forward as they all glared at him. We aren't going anywhere, not until we beat you into the ground for blinding one of my guys. The boss shouted. Yeah, maybe that was uncalled for. I should have crippled his arms, so he couldn't hold any more knives at kids' throats, stated Naruto, not really caring about blinding someone who was willing to hold a knife to a child's neck. Get them, yelled the boss as the delinquents charged at the four. Are they serious? Moroha asked, looking at them with a raised brow. Unfortunately, they aren't very smart, replied Tawa, knowing this isn't gonna take long. Let's just deal with this quickly and then leave, stated Setsuna, not interested in wasting any more time than necessary on fools like them. Naruto, Tawa, and Moroha nodding in agreement, before running at the delinquents, with Moroha jumping over the short one, while grabbing his shoulders, flipping him over herself and slamming him into the ground, before lifting him up and uppercutting him in the chin, sending him flying up and down on the ground. With Setsuna ducking under the big one swing, before delivering a spin kick to his head, then jumping up and slamming her knee into his chin, sending him flying back. Naruto kicked the tall one's legs out from under them, before smashing his fist into his face, sending him crashing into the ground. Finally, Tawa rushed the leader from before, punching him twice in the stomach and chest, followed by grabbing him the collars and headbutting him, before kicking him in the chest, sending him skidding across the ground to the other thugs. With only the boss left, who's now shaking at the sight of seeing his gang get taken down so quickly. But before he could try to run, he was kicked in the back of the head by Moroha, sending him stumbling right into Tawa's right hook, which knocked him towards Setsuna, who slammed her fist into his stomach, knocking the wind out of him, along with making him back upright into Naruto, who grabbed him by his collar. Now, I'm gonna say this once, you and your little asshole followers, get the hell out of here, Naruto shouted, throwing the boss into the other gang members, while using some of his demonic energy to increase the power of his throw, resulting in the boss and the other delinquents being sent flying through the air off into the distance, before they soon landed right outside of a police station, startling everyone outside. Before they were soon recognized and arrested, as they were dragged into the station. Woohoo! Oh man, that was fun. Pretty boring and short, but it's still fun to kick the shit out of some bastards, like that, Moroha said, always enjoying the chance to beat up people that annoy her. Let's just go. I'd prefer not encountering any more fools like that, for the duration of our stay here, said Setsuna, with Naruto and Tawa nodding in agreement, neither of them interested in dealing with any other delinquents they've dealt with before. With that done, the group headed back to the Higurashi shrine, dropping Naruto off and exchanging goodbyes. Before Tawa, Setsuna, and Moroha headed back to the condo that they're currently staying at with Sota, Mo, and Mei. Within the forest, Naruto, Tawa, Moroha, and Setsuna were currently engaged in a four-way spar, with the former three using Bakken and Setsuna was using a wooden naginata. You've both gotten better, I haven't sensed your demonic energy flaring up once since we started, Moroha said, grinning while swinging her Bakken at Naruto, who blocked her strike before pushing her back. Thanks, we've just had good teachers, replied Naruto before taking his own swing at the quarter demon's legs, only for Moroha to jump up and slam her legs back down on his Bakken, knocking the Uzumaki off balance and leaving him open to her striking him in the back. Yeah, but you still have a lot to learn, stated Moroha with a smirk, while blocking Tao's strike when the Silverette tried attacking her from the side, only to grunt when Tao then quickly swung at her legs, knocking her to the ground. The same could be said for you. Tao taunted before jumping back, when Moroha spun around on the ground in an attempt to knock her down as she got back up and rushed her. Naruto was about to engage Moroha again, only to be forced to turn around and block a strike from Setsuna, grunting when she began pushing him back. What did I say about keeping aware of your surroundings? Setsuna said, pushing Naruto back and swinging her naginata at his head, which the whiskered blonde ducked under her strike and jabbed his bakken into her stomach. And what have we said about lightening up, Setsu? Replied Naruto in a mocking tone, making the Hanyo growl in annoyance before rushing him. The demon slayer swinging her naginata up at Naruto, who blocked it with his bakken, only for Setsuna to then push it forward, jabbing him in the leg. With Naruto grunting at the hit, before moving back when she swung her weapon at his face, taking the chance to have it clash against his bakken and smack Setsuna's arm. Causing the Ravenet to flinch at the hit, before spinning her naginata around to jab Naruto with the butt of the handle. Only for Naruto to catch it and pull Setsuna close, before spinning and hitting her in the back, making the demon slayer grunt as she stumbled forward. Come on Setsu, I thought a big, bad Hanyo demon slayer like you would put up more of a challenge. Taunted Naruto with a smirk on his face, making Setsuna growl and narrow her eyes at him, swearing to wipe that look off his face. I'm going to enjoy this far more than I should. Setsuna said while rushing Naruto at faster speeds and jumping at him, before swinging her naginata down towards him, with Naruto just barely able to block it with his bakken. Though still felt tremors go through his body from the impact, showing Setsuna was fighting more seriously. Ah, is little Setsu getting angry? Does the little puppy need a snack, or are you tired? Naruto mocked, unable to resist the chance to taunt her again. I'm gonna remove your insolent tongue, shouted Setsuna as she pushed Naruto back and rushed him, now refusing to hold back anymore. While with Tawa and Moroha, the quarter demon bent backwards to avoid a swing from her cousin, before quickly standing up straight and smacking the Silverette in the chest with her bakken. With Tawa gritting her teeth at the hit before she held her bakken in a reverse grip and hit Moroha in the head with the handle. Hey, careful. This is just a spar, we're not trying to knock each other out, said Moroha, rubbing her head, making Tawa wince at thinking she actually hurt her. Sorry, I didn't mean to, whoa, said Tawa, quickly raising her bakken to block a sudden strike from Moroha, who grinned at her. Got you. You shouldn't assume an opponent isn't faking an injury to get you to lower your guard, Moroha said, before pushing Tawa back and jumping over her to take a swing at her back, only for the Hanyo to recover from her trick and hold her sword behind her, blocking the strike. With Tawa spinning around and batting Moroha's bakken away, only to yelp when the quarter demon quickly switched it to holding it in her left hand to strike her leg. Before letting out a grunt, when Tawa took the chance to strike her now unguarded right side. While also allowing them to jump away from each other, only to quickly rush each other once again, clashing their bakkens against each other. Before Tawa took a quick glance at Naruto and Setsuna's fight, while seeing that her sister was now really pressuring her friend, showing that she wasn't holding back as much. With Naruto also glancing at Tawa and Moroha's fight, the two then looking at each other before sharing a small nod. The two managing to break off from their current opponents and ran towards each other, making it seem like they were going to start fighting each other. Only for Naruto to suddenly drop down to the ground on his hands and knees, with Tawa placing a hand on his back and jumping over him. With the Silverette kicking Setsuna's naginata out of her hands, much to her surprise, before she raised her arms to block Tawa's bakken. While Naruto spun around on the ground, sweeping Moroha's feet out from under her before he then jabbed his bakken into her chest, sending her flying back and hitting the ground before she righted herself and held her bakken at the ready. This is supposed to be a four-way spar, not a team one, Setsuna said in annoyance at being unable to continue fighting the annoying blonde. There wasn't any rules saying that we can't team up to take out the other two, before focusing on each other, Setsu. And besides, you could do with some sisterly bonding, maybe Tawa will finally make you relax, Naruto said tauntingly, before he had to block Moroha's downward swing, with the demon slayer growling again before jumping back and retrieving her naginata. Fine, let's bond then Tawa, said Setsuna, rushing Tawa, who blocked her strike before pushing her back. Then Naruto and Tawa suddenly broke off and ran towards each other again, Setsuna and Moroha running after them, believing they're going to try pulling the same trick again and switch themselves. only to be surprised when the two instead threw their bakans right at each other, while bending backwards just as they passed overhead. Before they quickly grabbed them, while using Setsuna's and Moroha's surprise at their move to strike them. With Tawa getting behind Setsuna and hitting her in the back, while Naruto hit Moroha in her side. Causing the two to grunt at the hits before jumping back, now being more wary at seeing their surprisingly good teamwork. How exactly can you two work so well, together? Questioned Setsuna, seeing they didn't even need to speak or give any signs on what to do, they simply acted and reacted to what the other did. We've just known each other for a long time and know how the other fights. So we know what to do to work together and not get in each other's way. Tawa replied, along with knowing she and Naruto trusted each other to watch the others back and protect them. Plus, I'm sure you aren't familiar with teamwork Setsu, since you're just so amazing, you only work alone. Naruto taunted, making the demon slayer scowl and was about to rush past Tawa to attack him. Only for the four to be forced to stop when an alarm went off, making Naruto and Tawa sigh, knowing that meant it's time for the Silverette to head to school. While the whiskered blonde needed to head to work, since Naruto planned to make some last-minute cash for any supplies they may bring to the feudal era. Guess we have to cut this short. Naruto stated. Ah man, and it was just getting good. Whined Moroha, disappointed at the spar ending before it could be finished. I'm sure we can do it again, another time, or after we travel to the feudal era. Tawa said before they all took their leave, with Setsuna and Moroha heading back to the condo, Tawa to school, and Naruto to work. Later with Naruto. Okay, here's what I have for you today. Said Asuma Sarutobi, Naruto's boss who gives him assignments and odd jobs, while handing Naruto the list of jobs he has for him, with him raising a brow when he saw how many were on the list. This is more than you usually give me. Naruto stated, seeing it was longer than usual. I figured, since you'll be leaving soon, I'd let you complete as many jobs as I can give you before you go. Which is a shame, since you've proven to be one of my best employees. Asuma replied, given he didn't get any complaints from clients about Naruto, with him also fulfilling all the assignments given to him, no matter what they were. Yeah, sorry about that, but something really important just suddenly came up and I need to leave for a while to deal with it. Said Naruto, which Asuma waved off. Don't worry about it, whatever it is must be important for you to suddenly need to leave. Asuma said, with Naruto nodding in response. It is. And thanks Asuma, for giving me this job to begin with, it really helped me when I needed it. Naruto replied, knowing he wouldn't have gotten very far, if it wasn't for Asuma giving him work. Like I said, don't worry about it. Now go on, you wouldn't want your first bad day to end up being your last day. Said Asuma, with the whiskered blonde nodding, before heading out to get started on completing the list of assignments. Higurashi Kondo. Meanwhile, at the Higurashi Kondo, Setsuna was venting to Moroha and Mo, with the source of her venting being Naruto himself. He is the most arrogant, smug, annoying, idiotic, insufferable, intolerable, and above all else, most pig-headed person I've ever met. I've dealt with demons that are less annoying than him. And who is he to question how I act to someone I didn't even know existed, until a few days ago? And I do know about teamwork. Setsuna shouted, while glaring at the wall, just picturing the annoying blonde's face before banishing the image, unless she ended up putting her fist through the wall. You sure? 'Cause you did seem pretty eager to fight me alone, when we first met, and then wanting to fight Three Eyes alone too. You sure you don't prefer working alone? Moroha asked teasingly, making Setsuna round on her. And you don't get to speak either, you're almost as annoying as he is. Retorted Setsuna, with the quarter demon shrugging. Well to be fair Setsu, you really should learn to lighten up, since you kind of make it too easy for Whiskers to rile you up. Plus, you didn't make the best first impression, with all the threats and attempts to kill him and Tawa. Said Moroha, knowing Setsuna made it easy for Naruto and herself to provoke her, not that Moroha was complaining, since she found it enjoyable to rile her cousin up. Setsuna, I believe you may be judging Naruto too harshly, as he is a good kid. I'm actually glad he's friends with Tawa and became an older brother figure for Mei. Oh, she was so happy that she had two older siblings to play with, she even developed a crush on Naruto. Oh, it's so adorable. Mo said, smiling happily that her adopted daughter had a friend like Naruto and Mei looking up to him, while even developing a small crush on him. Flashback. Naruto, can I ask you something? Mei asked nervously, looking at Naruto as he was sitting beside Tawa, since the whiskered blonde had been invited over to dinner with the Higurashi family, with her question getting everyone's attention. Sure, Mei. What did you want to ask? Asked Naruto, looking at the young girl, wondering what she wanted to ask. Do you like me? Questioned Mei, looking at him hopefully, the question surprising Naruto. Yeah Mei, I like you, you're a really good kid. Naruto replied, since he did have a soft spot for Mei after meeting her and seeing how close she and Tawa are. Along with finding it funny, whenever she'd get upset at Tawa for not dressing in a feminine manner or getting into fights. Yeah, if you like me, then that means we can get married once I get older, because I like you too. Mei said happily at knowing Naruto liked her. With her sudden declaration causing Naruto and Tawa to suddenly choke on their food, while Sota and Mo laughed lightly at their daughter's declaration. Along with the resulting reaction it got from Naruto and Tawa. End flashback. Mo giggled at the memory, while Setsuna and Moroha looked at her with wide eyes. Mo, are you and Sota alright with that? Setsuna asked, not sure it'd be good for Mei to have a crush on Naruto. Oh, it's nothing to worry about, it's natural for young children to develop a crush on an older sibling or parent they look up to and admire. And Naruto's practically family now. Replied Mo, not minding Mei's crush on Naruto, knowing it's harmless. You hear that Setsu, it's natural for young children to develop a crush on an older sibling. Maybe that's what you were like with Tawa, always wanting to be close to big sister and not let anyone steal her from you. Moroha said teasingly, making Setsuna scoff and cross her arms. I would never be anything like that, nor would such thing ever happen. Retorted Setsuna, which only made Moroha smirk. And how do you know? You've admitted to not having any memories of your childhood. So how can you be so sure? Asked Moroha, causing Setsuna's eyes to snap open as she lost her composure. That doesn't, Setsuna said to try and come up with a retort, only to be embarrassed and mortified when she couldn't think of anything. Even worse, was what if she actually was like that? She'd never be able to live it down. Hey. Well, while you're sorting out your feelings, I'm gonna head out and explore the city. And if I see her, I'll be sure to tell Tawa you said hi. Said Moroha before exiting the condo, with Setsuna looking at her in annoyance as she left. Never mind, she's just as annoying as the annoying blonde. Thought Setsuna before pulling out her violin, a gift from Mo, and began playing to help her relax. Having learned she seemed to have a natural talent for the violin, along with it helping her relax, something she's needed to do a lot after dealing with Naruto and Moroha. Though it wasn't long after that the phone rang, with Mo going to get it, while Setsuna stopped playing so she wouldn't be disturbed. Oh, Mrs. Higurashi, hello. Did you need something or need to talk with Sota? Mo asked after seeing it was her mother-in-law. Hello Mo, and no actually. I just wanted to call and tell you that Naruto forgot his lunch. I was hoping, either Moroha or Setsuna would be willing to come by and bring it to him. Mrs. Higurashi said. Well Moroha left not too long ago, but Setsuna is here. I'm sure she'd be happy to come by to pick up Naruto's lunch, and bring it to him. Replied Mo. I most certainly would not. Setsuna thought in annoyance as she felt further annoyed with Moroha, fully believing she planned this just to provoke her. But knowing she was the only one available, Setsuna sighed in resignation as she put her violin away. Later. After leaving the condo, Setsuna had headed for the Higurashi shrine and picked up Naruto's lunch, before setting out to try and find him by following his scent. Leading to more than a few problems, due to how Setsuna didn't really explore the city or tried to learn about the modern era. Believing anything she learned would be useless when they returned to the feudal era, where nothing she learned would really benefit her. With this having led to a few problems, along with the demon slayer freaking out over the various things she saw and nearly attacked people she thought were going to attack her. Only being thankful, she didn't have her Naginata with her, knowing how bad it'd be if she actually attacked innocent people. Setsuna also needed to wear more modern clothes, given her uniform would have made her stand out and draw unwanted attention to herself. With the Hanyo now wearing a royal blue shirt with elbow-length sleeves, long black pants, red socks, and black shoes. Eventually, she was successful in getting a stronger trail on where Naruto was, though when she did finally find where the Uzumaki was, Setsuna was stunned by what she saw. While she learned that Naruto performed odd jobs and assignments, the Hanyo hadn't been expecting to find him at a park looking after and playing with children. Setsuna counting 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls, all of them laughing and smiling as Naruto played with them. The latter of which also surprised Setsuna, given since meeting Naruto, she's only seen him acting sarcastic, taunting, eager to fight, and getting on her nerves. Now though, she's seeing a different side of him, one she didn't think he had. He's so soft and fun-loving with them, like a completely different person. Setsuna thought in stunned amazement at seeing Naruto acting this way. Setsuna. Naruto said after he and the kids spotted her, snapping the Hanyo out of her thoughts, with her now blushing in embarrassment at seeing them spot her basically spying on them. What are you doing here? Questioned Naruto, wondering what she's doing here and how she even knew where to find him. He here. Why you forgot this, and Mrs. Higurashi asked me to bring it to you. Setsuna said quickly, while holding out his lunch, surprising Naruto since he hadn't realized he forgot it and that Setsuna brought it to him. Thanks for bringing it to me. Replied Naruto, smiling at her and taking it. Hey Naruto, who is she? Asked one of the boys, getting the two's attention. Oh right, this is Setsuna, Tawa's twin sister. Setsuna these are Konohamaru, Udon, Moegi, Inari, and Hanabi. Naruto introduced, since Tawa had come with him a few times to help out on jobs, when she was off from school, so they knew who she was, with the kids looking at Setsuna in surprise. You're Tawa's sister? Moegi asked, smiling in excitement. Are you gonna play with us too? Said Inari, all of them liking it, when Tawa would come with Naruto. Can you fight like her and Naruto? Questioned Hanabi. I don't know, Setsuna said uneasily, not used to being around young children, let alone playing with them. Come on Setsu, what's the harm in relaxing just once? That is, if you even know how to relax or have fun. Naruto said teasingly, making the Hanyo give him an annoyed expression before looking back at the children's hopeful looks, making her sigh. Alright, I guess I can stay. Said Setsuna, making the children cheer, before they began pulling her and Naruto along. With Setsuna being out of her element, not knowing she was supposed to do, while simply observing Naruto and the kids to understand what they were doing. Though she soon began easing into things, with help from both Naruto and the children, with her soon being able to go along with them. With her even starting to enjoy herself and having fun with all of them. Naruto, why didn't you tell us Tawa had a sister? Said Konohamaru as the kids looked at Naruto. Yeah, it would have been more fun if both of them came with you. Moegi added. I bet he kept her secret, so he wouldn't have to bring her. Inari stated. Actually, the thing is, Naruto said, wondering how he could explain that Setsuna's only recently showed up, without revealing anything about demons and the fact they weren't human. I bet they're dating and that's why he hasn't brought, he wants to keep her to himself. Said Hanabi, much to Naruto's embarrassment. That's not it. Said Naruto quickly, though the children didn't seem to believe him. While Setsuna watched this, and while she was embarrassed at them believing she and Naruto are a couple, she also enjoyed the sight of Naruto being overwhelmed by children. The Hanyo soon gaining a light smile and letting out a small laugh at the sight, much to Naruto's shock as he looked at her. Wondering if he'd really just heard Setsuna laugh and that she was actually smiling. Wow, and here I thought you didn't know how to smile, laugh, or have fun. And yet here you are doing all three at the same time, I guess miracles do exist after all. Naruto said teasingly, much to Setsuna's annoyance as her smile vanished. Though before she could say anything, Naruto's mood suddenly turned serious as he smiled at her. But you do look better when you smile and laugh, Setsuna. You should do it more often, so others can see how good you look when you do it, as well. Added Naruto, admitting that Setsuna looked good when she smiled and laughed. With his words now making Setsuna blush, while looking at him in surprise, not expecting the Uzumaki to say something like that. Before she quickly willed her blush away and turned away from him. Shut up. Do don't nay need yo utt to te tell meh ho how I lo look. And maybe if you, Moroha, and Tawa weren't so annoying, I'd have more of a reason to smile. Setsuna retorted, making Naruto laugh at her reaction. Maybe we should add Tsunere to your list of titles. Demon Slayer, Hanyo, Sister of the Year, and now Tsunere. You're making quite a name for yourself, Setsu. Teased Naruto, with the Demon Slayer giving him a side glare, though not having the usual amount of annoyance. Whatever, don't you still have jobs to do? Setsuna retorted to change the subject. Yeah, it's actually almost time for the kids to go home. After that, I only have a couple more jobs to complete. You can go home if you want when we're done here. replied Naruto, with Setsuna scoffing and crossing her arms. And end up having to hunt you down because you forgot something else, no thank you. I'll just help you finish the rest of your jobs, so they'll be done quicker. Stated Setsuna, with Naruto raising a brow at her, before shrugging. Alright, if you want to. Naruto said before they rejoined the kids. Later. After the time came for the kids to go home, Naruto and Setsuna went off to complete the rest of his jobs, including weeding a garden, walking dogs, fixing a fence, and several other similar tasks. With Setsuna's help making them go by faster, until there was only one left. Unfortunately, Naruto knew what the job was, given the client was a wealthy one and a regular, so he knew what they were in for. It went this way, sorry. Said Naruto as he and Setsuna ran across a street, while being forced to jump past a car, after their target. How can an animal move this fast? Setsuna demanded as they ran down an alley where their target had gone down, not believing a normal animal could be this fast. I don't know, it's been like this, ever since I first had to catch the damn thing. You keep chasing it, I'll cut it off on the other side. Naruto replied while turning down another alleyway, as Setsuna continued after their target. With Setsuna simply nodding as she continued pursuing their target, refusing to be outsmarted by a common animal of all things. With the Hanyo soon arriving at the end of the alley with a fence and in front of it she saw their target, a brown cat with a red ribbon on its right ear. Alright Tora, there's no need to let this go on any longer, just come with us and no one has to get hurt. Setsuna said, despite wanting to skin the damn cat, after they've been chasing it for nearly 2 hours with zero success, with Tora merely hissing at her in response before looking for any possible escape. You are so lucky I can't use my poison. Growled Setsuna, for once wishing her demon blood was unsealed, just to teach this furball a lesson. Though she then spotted Naruto sneaking up behind Tora on the other side of the fence, motioning her to not do anything, with the Hanyo nodding slowly while not taking her eyes off Tora. Approaching the fence slowly and quietly, Naruto suddenly jumped over and on top of Tora, making the cat yowl and flail about to escape. Not happening furball. You aren't getting away again. Said Naruto while grabbing hold of Tora, as Setsuna sighed in relief and approached. Great, we got the creature, now let's go bring it back. Setsuna said, eager for this job to be done and over with. Yeah, just give me a moment, I need, Naruto shouted as he tried getting a better hold on Tora, only for the cat to begin clawing and scratching his face. Damn it, you little bastard. Get the hell off me. Yelled Naruto as he tried pulling Tora off, while Setsuna watched in amusement, enjoying the sight of the whiskered blonde being attacked by the cat. Only for his eyes to widen when Tora then jumped off Naruto's head and towards the fire escape on one of the buildings, knowing it was trying to make another escape. Setsuna quickly jumped up after, refusing to let it get away and make this chase last even longer than it already has. You aren't getting away again said Setsuna, as Tora suddenly turned around and scratched her face as well, before landing on the ground and escaping again, back down the alley, leaving Naruto and Setsuna to pick themselves up. That thing isn't a normal cat, it has to be descended from a demon. Setsuna stated, believing Tora had to be a demon descendant, since her pride is already taking a major blow at the fact a normal cat was giving her this much trouble. She at least wanted to salvage what's left of it, by believing that Tora was part demon to better explain how this was possible. I swear, if it wasn't for Buyo, I'd hate all cats and drown them all like a sack of dumb puppies. Naruto muttered darkly. Agreed. Setsuna replied, knowing if it wasn't for Karara, she'd be there with Naruto in despising all cats. Knowing they still had to chase Tora and bring it back, the two sighed in resignation before resuming the chase. Later. Oh Tora, I'm so happy to see you again. Said Madame Shijimi as she hugged Tora tightly, much to the cat's dismay. Yes, yes, yes. Squeeze it until it finally pops. Naruto and Setsuna thought, both of them taking a sadistic joy in watching Madame Shijimi hugging, or rather squeezing, the life out of the accursed cat. After Madame Shijimi gave her signature, showing the job was completed, Naruto and Setsuna both headed back and reported to Asuma that all the jobs were completed. With the man giving Naruto his payment, along with even paying Setsuna some money as well for her help, even if she technically wasn't one of his employees. I swear, if there's one thing I won't miss when we leave, it'll be that damn cat. Naruto stated, with Setsuna nodding in agreement. Agreed, the sooner we can get to the feudal era and away from that creature, the better. said Setsuna, actually preferring the chance to fight actual demons than having to deal with chasing after Tora again. The two then prepared to head back to their respective homes, before Naruto spotted a flyer on a light post that got his attention. Huh, a theme park coming to town in a couple days. Naruto said, interested at hearing this, making the Ravenet narrow her eyes at him. Don't even think about it. We have no time to waste on something like a theme park, whatever that is, when we should focus on making sure you and Tao are ready for when we go to the feudal era. Not to mention, how we still need to find a way back to the feudal era, to begin with. Said Setsuna, not wanting to waste any more time than necessary, since they needed to get back to the feudal era as soon as possible. Come on Setsu, wouldn't it be good for us to have at least one day to rest and relax, before going to the feudal era? As I doubt we'll have many chances to rest or relax when we go there. Said Naruto, with the demon slayer not budging. If you wish to waste precious time then do as you wish, I will have no part in it. Setsuna stated, making Naruto roll his eyes at seeing she's back to her usual self. And here I was thinking you were actually starting to lighten up and learn to have fun. But I guess you're just having an off day. Said Naruto. And here I thought you weren't just an insufferable, pig-headed, fool. But I guess I was right after all. Setsuna retorted. The two looked at each other with narrowed eyes, though the previous tension and hostility that was present in their bickering was now not as prominent as before. Yeah, whatever you say. See you tomorrow. Naruto said, while turning to head back to the Higurashi shrine. If I'm unlucky. Said Setsuna, also heading back to the Higurashi condo. Later. After arriving back at the condo, Setsuna was greeted by Tawa, Sota, Mei, Moroha, and Mo, with the Silverette immediately going over to her sister. Setsuna. Are you alright, where were you all day? Tawa asked, having been wondering where her sister was all day, starting to get worried the longer she was gone and remembering how she lost her once already, and didn't want to lose her again. I'm fine, why wouldn't I be? Mo and Mrs. Higurashi requested that I deliver Naruto's lunch to him, after he forgot it. Though I ended up spending the rest of the day with him and helped him complete the rest of his jobs. Replied Setsuna, making Tawa relax at hearing nothing happened to her. Wow, and you're both still alive. You spent the entire day together and didn't try to kill each other. Moroha asked in surprise, having expected Naruto and Setsuna to try and kill each other, if they spent an extended period of time together alone. Naruto isn't as annoying as I originally believed him to be. In fact, he's rather tolerable when you can see his less annoying and positive traits. He's still insufferable, but it can at least be tolerated and accepted now. Replied Setsuna, having started to take a liking to Naruto, though she won't admit it out loud. Something that Mo, Sota, and Moroha saw and were amused by, with the quarter demon appearing beside Setsuna and wrapping an arm around her. Ah, isn't that adorable? Setsu's starting to warm up to Naruto. I'm sure it won't be long, before you really start liking him then, cousin. Moroha teased, with Setsuna giving her a dry glare, while Tawa and Mei both felt annoyed and jealous at how Setsuna complimented Naruto, and how Moroha implying she'd like him. No. You can't like Naruto, only I can like Naruto and be with him. Setsuna can find someone else to like. Said Mei, much to the amusement of her parents and Moroha. While Tawa remained silent, along with being shocked and confused at the jealousy she felt towards Setsuna. Why would I be jealous of Setsuna? We haven't seen each other in 10 years, and I've only wanted to find her that entire time. So, why would I be jealous? Tawa thought, concerned she'd be feeling this way about her long-lost twin sister, before shaking off the feelings is nothing. Knowing that she has nothing to be jealous of her twin for, while being glad that Setsuna and Naruto are starting to get along. 3 days after Setsuna helped Naruto with his jobs, both Naruto and Moroha were at the Higurashi shrine, training with the other elders. Those two have a good sense of flow, for their age. One of the elders said, upon seeing how well Naruto and Moroha were going through the katas. Gotta say, I'm impressed. Another elder said in agreement. Their form's not too shabby, either. Stated a third elder. Well, what do you expect? Being a fast learner comes natural when you're so young. The fourth elder added, with Moroha looking at them in confusion. You know, you keep going on about how young I am, when actually, now that I'm in this era, I'm way older than all of you. Said Moroha, not caring about revealing she's from the feudal era. Moroha, that's not exactly how it works. You're still technically 14 here. Naruto said, while looking at the quarter demon. Don't you both go pulling our legs, now. One of the elders said, thinking they were making a joke. It's true though. Not only that, I'm about 450 years older than every single one of you guys. Moroha stated, before showing some of the taijutsu she'd learned from her great-grandfather, with the elders clapping at the display. Only for the girl to yelp, when Naruto swiped her leg out from her under her, the whiskered blonde smirking at the ravenet. Then you better lie down before you hurt your back, granny. Naruto taunted, before Moroha locked her legs around his and tripped him, knocking the Uzumaki down as well. And you should respect your elders. Replied Moroha, before putting her hands on the ground and flipping backwards, while landing on her feet as she did. Everyone's looking so energetic, today. Stated Grandpa Higurashi as he came out, with Moroha running up to him with a smile. Morning there, Grandpa. Moroha said, having been happy at the chance to meet her mother's family, after coming to the modern era. Looks like you've begun to fit in, quite well. Grandpa Higurashi replied, glad to see that Moroha and Setsuna have managed to fit in with the modern era, since arriving. It makes sense, since it's been a few days, plenty of time to get familiar with this era. Stated Moroha, having been spending her time trying to learn more about the modern era, when she wasn't training with Naruto, Tawa, and Setsuna, or finding a way back to the feudal era. Oh really? In that case, I have something for you. Said Grandpa Higurashi as he reached into his robe, much to Moroha's excitement. Yeah, what did you get me? Moroha asked in excitement to see what the gift was. Only to stare with a dumbfounded expression, when he handed her a mummified, clawed foot. That is an authentic mummified foot of a kappa. It brings you good fortune. Said Grandpa Higurashi, giving Moroha the same foot he'd tried giving to her mother, before she first went to the feudal era. This is the best gift ever. Moroha squealed before hugging her great-grandfather, with the old man crying tears of joy that she loved the gift. You know its value. Kagome gave birth to a truly wonderful daughter. Thank you, Kagome, wherever you are, there is new meaning in my life. Grandpa Higurashi said, happy that one of his grandchildren finally understood the value of his gifts. Naruto smiled at the sight, before he caught sight of something moving through the sand towards the Tree of Ages. Looking at Moroha, she smirked and nodded, having seen the same thing. Seems like our little friend finally noticed us. Moroha stated, with Naruto nodded in agreement, having begun getting used to sensing demonic energy with his training and knew a demon had been nearby recently. Now let's see what it's doing here. Said Naruto as they went over to the Tree of Ages, jumping over the small fence around it to see what demon was here. Only to see a small brown root moving around at the base of the tree, with it trying to burrow back underground until Naruto stomped on it, getting a squeal of pain from the demon. Oi, demon, who are you and what are you doing here? Moroha demanded, poking the root with her sword, making it wriggle around to try and escape. You cursed quarter demon spawn. Do you know who I am? I am Roothead, I control the Tree of Ages, Roothead screamed in pain when Naruto stomped on it again. You're about to be ashes in a few moments. You said, you control the Tree of Ages, does that mean you can open portals from the modern era to the feudal era? Questioned Naruto. Of course I can. The moment I attached to the Tree of Ages, its power became my own. I can open a portal to any point in time that the tree exists in. Roothead replied, making Naruto and Moroha look at each other, knowing they just found their ticket to the feudal era. Great. Then you can open a portal for us, back to the feudal era. Moroha stated, only for Roothead to scoff. And why would I waste my time helping creatures, like you? Demanded Roothead, only for Moroha to poke him again with her sword. Cause otherwise, I'll just keep doing this. Retorted Moroha while poking the demon repeatedly. Ah. Stop. Ow. That. Stop it. Ow. Right. Gah. Now. Roothead shouted while trying to escape before Naruto stopped Moroha. How about in exchange for opening a portal to the feudal era for us, you get 3 rainbow pearls? Offered Naruto, making Moroha look at him, before realizing what he's doing. Yeah, how about that? You open a portal for us and you get the red, silver, and gold rainbow pearls. Moroha said, even pulling out her compact and showing the red pearl inside. And how do I know you have the other 2 rainbow pearls? Demanded Roothead suspiciously and eagerly at the idea of possessing 3 rainbow pearls. Because I'm sure you sensed the gold pearl right before you opened the portal that sent us here. And the silver pearl is here as well. But you won't get them, until after you open a portal for us back to the feudal era. replied Moroha, with the demon growling at this since it wanted the rainbow pearls now. Or I can keep doing this, until you agree to open a portal. Moroha said, preparing to poke it again, making the root recoil. Wait. Alright, I'll open a portal. But then you'll give me the rainbow pearls. Roothead said, not wanting to be poked anymore, making Moroha grin while Naruto let it go. Deal, but remember, no portal, then no rainbow pearls. Said Naruto, with the root seemingly nodding before quickly going underground. Well, looks like we just got our ticket back to the feudal era. Moroha stated while grinning at their success. Yep, now all we need to do, is get all the supplies we need for when we leave. As well as telling Tawa and Setsuna that we found a way to the feudal era. Added Naruto, with the quarter demon nodding in agreement before she grabbed his hand. Speaking of supplies, let's do that now. Said Moroha, eager to get her own supplies and items to bring back to the feudal era, before running off while dragging Naruto along with her. Later. After arriving at a store, Naruto and Moroha began getting supplies that they'll need while in the feudal era, such as food, first aid supplies, communication radios for when they get separated and to stay in contact, spare clothes, toiletries, and other such stuff that they'll need and could use. With the two also splitting up while getting supplies, to save time before meeting back up once they were finished. Though Naruto's eyes were wide open, when he found Moroha dragging around a massive yellow bag, seeing it looked similar to the one Kagome had from the pictures he's seen of her with Inuyasha. But what shocked Naruto, was that it was practically inflated and overflowing with stuff inside of it. How did she fit a bike in there? Naruto thought, seeing that Moroha somehow actually fit a bike inside the bag, while the quarter demon merely grinned. Oh man. This place just has so much stuff, it's unreal. I honestly don't know what most of this stuff is, but I couldn't help but grab everything I saw. Said Moroha, having mostly just grabbed stuff and put it in the bag. With Naruto weakly nodding at this, before looking through the bag seeing that besides the bike, Moroha also grabbed an MP3 player, a portable stove, different types of food, a butterfly net, a telescope, and other such things that he couldn't figure out how they'd be helpful. Though when Naruto found a book on the Reiwa era, he quickly took it out, knowing how bad that'd be if anyone found it. Moroha, how exactly are you able to afford to get all this stuff? Naruto asked, given the only reason he could get his own purchases was because he's been saving his money, both from work and selling the stuff he wouldn't be bringing to the past. I'm using Uncle Soda's credit card. Revealed Moroha, making Naruto trip over his feet and look at her with wide eyes. And does he know you're getting this much stuff? Said Naruto, since there had to be a limit to how much she was allowed to use, only for Moroha to laugh mischievously. I'm sure he won't mind his adorable niece doing a little shopping. Moroha stated. You already paid for this stuff, didn't you? Naruto said, with the Rabinet merely nodding before picking her bag up so they could leave, with the Uzumaki only being able to sigh in resignation before going to pay for his own supplies. Later. Once they finished shopping, with Naruto making sure Moroha didn't accidentally buy anything else that could provide knowledge about the future, the two left. Though rather than return to the condo, the two decided to hang out and get to know each other better. So, Moroha, what exactly do you do in the feudal era? I know Setsuna's a demon slayer, but what about you? Naruto said, curious of what Moroha does in the feudal era. I'm a demon bounty hunter, one of the best there is. I'm known as Inuyasha, destroyer of lands, and Moroha the demon killer. Any demon that I hunt down doesn't last long once I have them in my sights. Moroha replied proudly, knowing she's built up a reputation. Huh, and what about before you became a bounty hunter? And are your parents okay with your profession? Questioned Naruto, given what he's heard from the Higurashi family. Kagome doesn't seem like someone who'd let her daughter go off alone to hunt demons, though Inuyasha probably would, from what he's heard of the Hanyo. Only to realize he said something wrong, when Moroha's smile faded and she gained a downcast expression. I never met my parents before I even came to the modern era, I didn't know who they were or where they even are. I was raised by the wolf demon tribe until I was 11, that's when I became a bounty hunter. Moroha answered, making Naruto wince. Oh, I'm sorry for bringing it up. Said Naruto, with the quarter demon waving it off. It's fine, you couldn't have known. Besides, I'm used to being alone and on my own. Moroha stated while looking away sadly. What do you mean? Naruto asked with a frown, not used to the usual upbeat Moroha looking this sad. I'm a quarter demon, we're seen in a worse light than even Hanyo. Since we aren't fully demons, not fully human, not even somewhere in between, just something no one wants. I didn't really have any friends my age, which lead to me simply accepting being on my own. Moroha revealed while sighing, before she felt Naruto's hand on her shoulder. I know the feeling of being alone and seen as something no one wants. Said Naruto, given that's how he was treated most of his life, especially after he was blamed for Shisui's death. But you aren't alone anymore, Moroha. You know who your parents are, you've met your family, you found out Tawa and Setsuna are your cousins. And you have me as a friend. No matter what happened before, I promise you'll never be alone again and always have someone be there for you. Naruto said, much to Moroha's surprise. And if you want, when we go back to the feudal era and find the dream butterfly to restore Setsuna's dreams and memories, then we can see about finding out where your parents are as well, so you can meet them too. Added Naruto, surprising the quarter demon again. You really mean all that? Moroha asked, with Naruto smiling and nodding at her. Absolutely. Naruto replied, making Moroha smile before hugging him. Thank you, Naruto. And no matter what anyone says about you, you're an amazing person as well and don't deserve to be judged just from how you look. And just like you said, I promise you'll always have someone there for you, whether it's Tawa, Setsuna, or me, you'll have someone. Stated Moroha as she smiled at him, with the whiskered blonde being surprised this time before he smiled and returned the hug. By the way, for a bounty hunter with an apparent reputation like yours, wouldn't you have more than enough money to pay for your own supplies? Naruto asked, only for Moroha to groan in annoyance as they separated. I wish I had that kind of money, but I only get to keep enough of my bounties to feed myself. The rest is kept by that stingy corpse dealer Jubei. Replied Moroha in annoyance, hating how whenever she brings in a bounty, she hardly gets anything for it because of that damn debt from her former master, while Naruto frowned at this. Is this Jubei guy not paying you the full amount of the bounties you bring in? Questioned Naruto, planning to teach this guy a lesson if he's cheating his friend. No, it's not that, I'm just stuck paying off a large debt I owe him. So he keeps most of the money to go towards my debt, while I get some to feed myself. And when I can't get any bounties, I'm stuck cleaning his shop to work off the amount. Moroha answered, with Naruto still not looking pleased at this. And I'm guessing you've been doing this, since you were 11. Stated Naruto, with the Ravenet nodding in response. Then I'll help you pay the debt. Naruto said, making Moroha look at him in shock before shaking her head. No, I'm not, Moroha said, only for Naruto to cut her off. Moroha, you're my friend, and I'm not having you to stay in debt to anyone, not if I can help. So, you can either accept my help to pay off your debt or I'm simply going to beat this guy within an inch of his life and make him forget the debt entirely. Either way, I am going to help you. Said Naruto, causing the quarter demon to look at him with wide eyes, not believing he'd go that far for her. Well, I guess I can't say no when you put it like that. Moroha said softly. Great. Though I'll still let you take all the credit, since I wouldn't want to upstage the destroyer of lands, now would I? Naruto said tauntingly, making Moroha scoff and look at him with a smirk. Ha. As if, I'd probably end up having to save your ass, which would merely show everyone that I can be generous as well as lethal. Retorted Moroha. Unless you end up having Tawa and Setsuna do all the work. Stated Naruto with a smirk. Nope, I'll leave that to you, I'm more than capable of getting things done on my own. Moroha said. It wasn't long before the two headed back to the condo. You need some help with that? Naruto asked while looking at Moroha, who was now slowly moving into the building with the large bag. And no, totally fine, just a few more steps. There we go. Moroha said, managing to get inside the building before setting the bag down. While she may have enhanced strength and stamina, carrying the large bag around for so long was tiring, even for her. After catching her breath, Moroha picked up the bag again before they headed upstairs to the condo. Entering, only to be surprised when they saw Setsuna inside, wearing long royal blue dress with sapphire heels as she's playing her violin. Wow. Naruto thought, unable to deny Setsuna that looked very beautiful in the dress. Hey, Setsuna, guess what? Yours truly just found our way, hold on. What's with the fancy get-up? Moroha asked, after seeing what Setsuna was wearing, before immediately smiling. Ooh. Wow, Setsu, you're looking pretty cute there. Stated Moroha, with Setsuna looking at her blankly while holding up her fist. I'll kill you. What are you looking at? Setsuna demanded, after seeing that Naruto's looking at her, thinking he was going to tease her as well. Nothing, you just look really beautiful in that dress, said Naruto, causing Setsuna to blush at his words as her annoyance faded into embarrassment. Shish shut you up. Setsuna stuttered, while looking away. Ah, look at you two, getting all cozy together and calling her beautiful. What about you Setsu, do you think Naruto looks handsome? Moroha teased, while hiding that she's feeling a little jealous at Naruto complimenting Setsuna like that, along with feeling annoyed that she and Naruto just spent so much time bonding with each other, only for Setsuna to get his attention once they got here. While Moroha made peace with the fact it would be a battle for Naruto's heart, she didn't realize how grating the competition would be. What did you say before? Did you find a means to get back? Setsuna asked, remembering what Moroha was originally saying. Yeah, you bet we did. Remember, the first time we went through the rainbow corridor and we felt our energy being sapped away. A demon called Root Head was the one stealing it, said Moroha, making Setsuna frown at hearing this. The plant demon, said Setsuna, having thought Root Head was dead. Yeah, that one. Apparently it got tangled up with the roots of the Tree of Ages and is the one who created the time-traveling corridor that sent you both here to begin with. Naruto answered, surprising Setsuna that they knew all this. You both did your research. Setsuna stated, nodding in approval. Nah, I don't do stuff like that, we just asked it ourselves. The root was sitting there, looking pretty bored, so we asked it a question or two, then it wouldn't shut up. Replied Moroha, smirking proudly at them finding a way back to the feudal era. We were able to make a deal with it, so whenever we want to go to the feudal era, we just have to go speak with Root Head. Naruto added, with Setsuna nodding at this information. I see, well it's worth a shot. But what's the bag for? Questioned Setsuna, while looking at Moroha's bag. I'm glad you asked. It's just a few little things I thought would be useful, for when we get back home. Moroha said while pulling some stuff out. We went and bought some supplies we can use when we go to the feudal era, and Moroha mostly bought a bunch of stuff she simply wanted. Naruto clarified, before Moroha reached in and pulled out Mistress Three Eyes' skull and the Hidoken. And check this out. These are the bounties that'll fetch me a nice lunch. Stated Moroha, with Setsuna simply looking at her blankly, wondering how Moroha got all that stuff in the bag. What are you three doing? Sota asked, arriving along with Tawa and Mei, the latter two being happy to see Naruto was here as well. Naruto, you're back, Mei said happily. Hi, everyone. Tawa greeted. So how's it going, girls, Naruto? Said Sota, wondering when they arrived. We actually just arrived and told Setsuna that we were able to find a way to the feudal era. Naruto revealed, surprising them. Really? That's great news. Sota said, glad they were able to find a way to the feudal era. Is it true? Tawa asked, since she still wasn't sure how they'll get back to the feudal era. Yep, we can head back whenever we want. Moroha stated, with Sota taking notice of her backpack. Huh, that backpack you have there, Moroha. It reminds me of the one my sister used to have. Said Sota, remembering Kagome having a similar backpack and taking it with her to the feudal era. Wouldn't taking all that stuff along risk changing history? Questioned Tawa, upon seeing everything Moroha had inside the backpack, worried that bringing it could change history, which the quarter demon waved off. It'll be fine. We'll just tell everyone it's secret demon magic stuff. Moroha replied. Don't worry, I made sure that Moroha didn't get anything that'd give away too much information about the future. Besides, technically speaking, the timeline was already changed when Kagome freed Inuyasha from the sacred tree in the first place. Hell, if it wasn't for her altering the timeline, you, Setsuna, and Moroha might not even exist. So just relax Tawa, there's no need to get paranoid to the point of thinking that something, like an apple seed, would have a negative effect on the timeline. Naruto assured, making Tawa sigh but nod in agreement, since she can't refute his logic and decided to just go with the flow. Oh, that's right. Take care of this, would you? Said Moroha, while handing Sota his credit card back, along with giving him the bill for everything she bought, making the man yelp in shock at how much it was. When did she spend all this? Sota said in shock. Yeah, sorry Sota. I should have kept a better eye on her, since I didn't realize what she was using to pay for all this stuff. Naruto said apologetically, while Moroha merely giggled with a mischievous smile. Your adorable niece just needed to do a little shopping. Moroha stated, with Sota waving off Naruto's apology and laughing nervously. Yeah, real adorable. Sota muttered while fanning himself with the bill. Then are we ready to return to the warring age? Questioned Setsuna, eager to finally return to her proper time, as while she's come to enjoy her time in the modern era, she still had her duties as a demon slayer. Actually, before we go, when Setsuna and I were out finishing my jobs, we saw that a theme park would be coming to town. I thought it'd be a good chance for us to go there before we leave, to have a day to relax and have fun. Naruto said, making the demon slayer look at him in annoyance for bringing that up. I told you, we don't have time to waste on something like that. We have a way back, we should take it as soon as possible. Setsuna said, still believing it'd be a waste of time. Oh, lighten up Setsu, it could be fun. Besides, now I'm curious about what this theme park place is. Said Moroha, interested in going to see what it's like. It would be nice to have a day to relax, especially with what we'll no doubt encounter in the feudal era. Tawa added, also in agreement to have a day to relax with her family. Yeah, can we go mama, daddy? May asked excitedly, while looking at her parents. Well, I don't see why not. Replied Sota, smiling at his daughter, with Mo nodding in agreement. Agreed, it would be fun for all of us to spend the day together, before you four leave. Mo said in agreement, with Naruto smirking at Setsuna. Looks like you're outvoted, Setsu. Stated Naruto, much to her annoyance. Fine, we'll go. But don't blame me, if Roothead refuses to send us back, because you chose to spend the day having fun. Setsuna retorted, making Naruto roll his eyes. You really need to lighten up Setsuna and learn to relax. Honestly, it's not like it'd kill you to have fun every once in a while. Said Naruto, with Moroha nodding in agreement. Yeah, seriously. You don't have to be so serious and broody all the time. Moroha added, with Setsuna's annoyance growing before Tawa put a hand on her twin's shoulder. It would be fun to spend the day together Setsuna, and maybe this theme park will help you unwind a little. Tawa said, with the demon slayer letting out a huff and crossing her arms, knowing she was stuck going, whether she liked it or not. Time skipped 2 days. When the theme park finally arrived, the Higurashi family, along with Naruto, Setsuna, and Moroha had headed there. With the Uzumaki spending the day with Tawa, Setsuna, and Moroha, while Sota and Mo went off with Mei. Though after a while, the four were entrusted to look after Mei by Sota and Mo, when they decided to have some quality time together. Leading to the five walking through the theme park, looking at everything that was set up, with Moroha and Mei looking with excited and amazed looks. While Naruto and Tawa were deciding what to do first, and Setsuna with a look of disinterest and annoyance. Look at that, Mei said before running up to a stand, seeing a large fluffy unicorn among several prizes. It's so fluffy, I want it. Said Mei, wanting the unicorn. You wanna try playing for it, Mei? Naruto asked, with the young girl nodding eagerly. Ooh, I wanna try playing. Said Moroha, eager to try and play the game as well. Do you wanna try, Setsuna? Tawa asked while looking at her sister, who merely looked at her blankly, before looking away. So, what do you have to do, to win the unicorn? Naruto asked, while looking at the guy manning the game. To win the unicorn, all you gotta do is knock down that little spaceship right there. The persona said, motioning to the spaceship, with Naruto nodding before paying for Mei, Moroha, and Tawa to play the game. Yeah, Mei cheered as the three took their seats and waited for the game to begin. Once the game started, the three tried shooting at the spaceship, only to have trouble hitting it, with how fast it was moving around. With it not being long before the game ended, with none of them able to hit the spaceship. Okay, we're done, let's go. Setsuna said. Ah, come on Setsu, just one more try. Said Moroha, much to her annoyance. Yeah, one more try. Said Mei, wanting to win the unicorn, with Naruto paying for another game. The three once again trying to hit the spaceship, with Mei soon managing to get a hit on it, much to her happiness. I hit it, I hit it. Mei said happily at hitting the spaceship. Alright, we win. Moroha said with a grin. Way to go Mei. Said Tawa, smiling at her adoptive sister, only for them to see the game still end and say they lose much to their confusion, while Naruto frowned. Hey, what's the deal? She hit the thing. Naruto said, looking at the guy, who merely smirked and counted the money. Hey buddy, let me explain something to you. You see that little tin spaceship? You see how it's not knocked over? You know what that means, Professor. It means you don't get the unicorn. Ah, somebody's got a frowny face. The guy said mockingly, while Naruto looked at him with narrowed eyes, before looking at Mei to see her sad expression. Okay, my turn then, said Naruto, paying for another game for himself. Sitting down, Naruto merely smirked as he started channeling his demonic energy into the shooter, before launching a single ball that blasted straight through both the spaceship and the back of the booth. Oh, look at that, it's knocked over. Naruto stated as the guy stood in shock at what he just saw, with the Uzumaki taking the unicorn and handing it to Mei. Yeah, thank you Naruto, Mei said, smiling and hugging Naruto while taking her new toy, with Tawa not even upset at what Naruto did, just feeling happy for her sister, while Moroha found it hilarious. That was a highly irresponsible use of your power, said Setsuna, looking at Naruto with narrowed eyes. The asshole had it coming. Besides, he should be glad that I decided to not reenact that scene from that Western movie, Darkman, and break his fingers for being such a smug, con artist. And seriously, relax Setsuna, maybe play some games. Naruto replied, only for her to scoff. As if I'd waste my time on such childish antics. Setsuna said, with Naruto smirking at the opening she just gave him. Yeah, you're right. They'd probably be too complicated for you anyway, said Naruto in agreement, with Setsuna freezing and looking at him. What? Setsuna demanded lowly. You're right, you shouldn't waste your time on things like games. I mean, you'd probably get upset after losing the first time, and quit altogether. It's alright Setsuna, you can admit when something is too difficult for you, assured Naruto, making Setsuna scowl at him. As if I could beat any one of these games, with my eyes closed. And I'd certainly beat you, without having to use any tricks or abilities. Setsuna retorted, her pride refusing to accept that something like these games would be difficult. Is that a challenge? Naruto asked with a smirk. You know what, yes it is. The first person to beat the most of these foolish games wins, said Setsuna as they shook hands. Deal, hope you're ready to lose. It wouldn't be the first time I've beaten you, taunted Naruto, making the Hanyo growl in annoyance before they went off to play the games. The two playing several games, including tossing rings, popping balloons with darts, a strength test, and several more. With the first few games, Setsuna was determined to beat Naruto and then stop after she proved she was better, only for them to keep tying. Leading to them playing more games, and then more games, until Setsuna had begun forgetting about the challenge, entirely. Instead, the Demon Slayer started laughing and smiling as they played the games, not even realizing it as they kept playing. I almost had you, Setsuna said, smiling as she and Naruto left their most recent game, carrying around their prizes they'd won, before sitting down on a bench. Yeah, you did, and I'll admit you're really good, replied Naruto, while smiling at Setsuna, glad to see her having fun. Ha! Then are you admitting that I, said Setsuna, before stopping as she began realizing what just happened and looked at him with narrowed eyes. You tricked me, Setsuna accused, seeing he played her into that challenge. Maybe. But you had fun, didn't you? Naruto stated, with the Demon Slayer unable to deny that, as thinking about it, she did start having fun, like when she and Naruto played with the children. I won't deny it wasn't as big of a waste as I originally believed, stated Setsuna, making Naruto smile and shake his head. I'll take that as a yes. And I was right before, you really do look better when you smile. Even better when you're laughing and enjoying yourself, Naruto said, making Setsuna look away with a blush. Shish, shut you up, Setsuna retorted. Setsuna, it's fine to relax and enjoy yourself from time to time, nothing bad will happen if you want to have fun. Especially, if you have fun with those you care about and who care about you, said Naruto, with the Hanyo looking at him slowly. I suppose you can be rather decent company, when you aren't being your usual annoying self, Setsuna said, making Naruto smile at her. Wow, a compliment, you must really be having an off day, Naruto stated, making Setsuna look at him blankly. Never mind, you're the worst company and always annoying, said Setsuna, with Moroha soon appearing and grabbing Naruto. Then you won't mind me stealing him. Come on Whiskers, we still have to go on all the rides together, Moroha said, wanting to go on the rides with Naruto, and also get him away from Setsuna. Unaware that the Demon Slayer was watching them go with a small, faint smile. So, what do you want to go on first? Naruto asked, with Moroha looking around, since she hadn't really thought of which ride to go on first, only getting him away from Setsuna. Said Moroha, trying to think of a ride. Also, sorry for going off with Setsuna like that, I just wanted to get her to unwind and have fun, which worked. But sorry for basically ditching you, Tawa, and Mei like that. So, anything you want to do, we'll do it. Said Naruto, having been so focused on the chance to get Setsuna to have fun, that he almost forgot about the others. Moroha smiled at him, thankful to hear that, before she looked around at the rides. Oh, that one, it looks like it'll go really fast. Moroha said, before pulling Naruto towards what he recognized as an inverted roller coaster. Later, after going on several rides with Moroha, Naruto was able to convince her to take a break, with her going with Setsuna and Mei to get something to eat, leaving Naruto with Tawa. I guess Moroha really wore you out. Tawa said with a smirk, mostly to mask her jealousy at how Naruto spent time with Setsuna and Moroha, especially since he was alone with both of them. Yeah, but I'm glad that she, along with Setsuna and Mei, are having fun. What about you, Tawa, are you having fun? Naruto asked while looking at his friend Crush, who nodded in response. Yeah, it's been great. And I haven't gotten the chance to say this, but thank you Naruto, for everything you've done since Setsuna and Moroha came here. With how you were able to get Setsuna to see that we really are sisters, along with starting to get along with her. It really means a lot to me. Said Tawa, smiling at Naruto, while thankful for everything he's done. You don't need to thank me for anything, Tawa. I'm just glad that I was able to help you since I know how much Setsuna means to you. And like I said before, I'll help you find the dream butterfly to restore her dreams and memories, no matter what. I promise. Naruto replied, smiling at the Hanyo, making her nod before looking down. Yeah, we'll be going to the Feudal Era, a time of war, demons, and who knows what else. It's really a lot to take in, to know how careful we'll have to be with the dangers we'll be facing. I just hope we're ready. Tawa said, showing some of her worries and fear of going to the Feudal Era. While she doesn't regret deciding to go there, Tawa wouldn't lie and say she wasn't worried, because she was. Hearing about the dangers they'll face is one thing, but seeing and experiencing them is something else entirely. Even knowing the fact that she was originally from the Feudal Era didn't ease her fears and concerns, given she doesn't really remember her time there. Not to mention that she's used to fighting thugs and delinquents, now she'll be fighting against demons and be expected to kill them or be killed herself. Though Tawa was pulled from her thoughts, when Naruto put his hand over hers, before seeing her friend look at her reassuringly. It's all right to be afraid and worried, Tawa, it is going to be dangerous, and we don't know what we'll be going against. But I have faith in you, you've grown much stronger from training with Setsuna and Moroha, so I know you'll be ready for anything that comes our way. And no matter what happens, or what we face, I will protect you, Tawa. If there's anything you can depend on, then let it be knowing that I'll keep you safe from anything or anyone that tries to hurt you. Said Naruto, refusing to let Tawa get hurt, with the Silverette looking at him with wide eyes and a faint blush on her face. Naruto, Tawa said softly, touched by his words. Before the two realized how close they were to each other and that they were holding hands, making them hastily move away from the other. A and an S say Setsuna and Mo Moroha too. I'll protect you, Setsuna, and Moroha no matter what. Because I care about all three of you and want to protect you all. Not to say you three can't protect yourselves, just that I'll protect you all too. And I'm sure they'll help protect you as well, and each other, cause we're friends. Naruto said quickly while looking away with a blush, while Tawa looked away with her own blush. Are we right? And I'm sure they feel the same and so do I. We'll protect each other and watch each other's backs, like we always have. Replied Tawa, while glancing at Naruto before quickly looking away. The two soon being rejoined by Setsuna, Moroha, and Mei with food, as they all ate before going on more rides and playing more games. With them eventually meeting up with Sota and Mo, as they all left after having their fill of the theme park, for the day. All of them wanting to get plenty of rest, knowing that tomorrow, Tawa, Naruto, Setsuna, and Moroha would be traveling to the Feudal Era. Naruto stood outside the gates of Tawa's school, waiting for the Silverette to come out, while ignoring the looks he was getting from the other students and the people passing by. Already hearing most of them muttering and whispering about him being some kind of delinquent. Though the Uzumaki was slightly unnerved at seeing some of the girls looking at him with hearts in their eyes, with a few even drooling. Not knowing it was due to them drooling over seeing a real bad boy at their school. Oh thank Kami. Thought Naruto when he saw Tawa coming, who looked surprised when she saw him standing at the gates. Naruto. What are you doing here? Tawa asked, having figured he'd already be at the Higurashi shrine, waiting for her, Setsuna, and Moroha. Well, since we're going out of town today with Setsuna and Moroha, I figured that I could walk you home before we all head out. Naruto replied with a shrug, making Tawa smile and nod. Yeah, that sounds good. We should get going then, so we don't waste any more time. Tawa said after taking a look around, feeling her annoyance bubble up at the sight of the girls and the way most of them were looking at Naruto. And knowing Setsu, she'll start pouting if we don't hurry up. Naruto stated with a smirk, knowing Setsuna didn't want to waste any more time in getting to the feudal era. And just where are you off to in a hurry? 'Cause you're more than welcome to stick around, cutie. Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Thought Tawa, her mood dropping even further at the familiar voice, before scowling when she saw one of the girls had walked up and grabbed the surprised Naruto's arm. The girl had long purple hair in a ponytail hanging over her left shoulder, pale skin, and brown eyes, while wearing the female uniform. With Tawa hating the way she was looking at Naruto, both because of her crush on him and the fact that she knew who the girl was. What do you want, Amy? Tawa said, scowling at the girl, who was one of the more popular girls who seemed to make Tawa's life at the all-girls school a living hell. Oh, didn't see you there, Tawa. I was just so focused on this cutie here, that you didn't even seem to exist. Amy said with a smirk at Tawa, before smiling sweetly at Naruto. But anyway, what's your name? I'm Amy. Amy introduced, with Naruto looking at her in surprise at her having suddenly grabbed his arm. You Naruto Uzumaki. Replied Naruto, not sure what else to say. Ooh, Naruto that's a nice name. If you want, you and I could go somewhere to get to know each other better. I'm sure we'd have plenty to share. Amy said with a flirtatious wink, much to Naruto's shock as he blushed in embarrassment at how forward she was being. Hell no. Thought Tawa, now glaring at Amy in anger and jealousy before she grabbed Naruto's arm and pulled him away from the perplet. In case you didn't see, we were just leaving and don't have time to waste on any annoyances. Tawa said, with Amy glaring at her, before pulling Naruto back towards her. Really? In that case, why don't you go away since the only annoyance I see is you? Why don't you go play in the mud, or whatever it is that mutts like you do, Tawa? While cutie and I go spend some quality time together. Retorted Amy as she smiled slyly at Naruto, whose initial shocked and flustered expression was now gone, replaced with anger at how she was treating his friend. Here's a better idea, you can get the hell away from both of us, and never bother me or Tawa again. Said Naruto while pulling away from Amy as he went over to Tawa, much to her disbelief and anger, while the Hanyo smirked at her. You, Amy growled, about to shout at both of them. Is there a problem, here? Questioned a man, one who both Tawa and Amy recognized as one of their teachers, Osamu Kirin. Kirin is a tall man with his face being partially covered by his glasses, which also hid his eye color, along with long light brown hair that went past his shoulders. With him wearing a white dress shirt, a green tie, a light brown suit, and brown dress shoes. And no, there isn't anything wrong, Mr. Kirin. Amy said quickly, knowing that Kirin was one of the few teachers that treats Tawa fairly, so he wouldn't believe her if she tried painting her and Naruto as the bad guys. Then I believe you best run along then, you still have homework due for tomorrow. Kirin said, with Amy nodding quickly before taking her leave, though not before giving Naruto and Tawa a glare as she left. Thank you for the help, Mr. Kirin. Tawa said, smiling in thanks at the teacher, with Kirin nodding in response. Of course, Tawa, I'd hate for you to get in trouble over nothing. Though it also seems that trouble still seems to find you no matter what, Naruto. Said Kirin, looking at Naruto with a knowing smirk, while Tawa was surprised that he knew her friend. Hey, I don't intentionally try to find trouble, most of the time anyway. Replied Naruto with his own smirk, getting a chuckle out of the teacher. Wait, you two know each other? Tawa asked, not expecting Naruto to somehow know her teacher and vice versa. Yeah, he helped me out after, and when I was expelled from Yugao's dojo. Along with having been a regular client, while I was doing jobs for Asuma. Naruto answered, with Kirin nodding in agreement. That's correct. I even taught him a bit in martial arts and kenjutsu. You still remember the first lesson? Questioned Kirin, Naruto nodding in response. The three most important aspects of martial arts are the heart and soul, the skill and technique, and the body, I still remember. Though I never did get the chance to practice the kenjutsu you taught me. Said Naruto, given that was the time he was on hiatus from using a Bakken, out of spite to Yugao. So, you two have known each other for a long time, then? Tawa asked, wondering if they'd interacted with each other, even after she met Naruto. Yes, though we did lose contact after I began focusing on my new job as an English teacher. Kirin replied. Yeah, and isn't that surprising, that you just happened to be a teacher at Tawa's new school? Funny how things seem to work out like that. Naruto stated, making the teacher laugh and nod in agreement. Indeed, it's funny how fate can work in the most unlikely of ways. Said Kirin, which made Naruto smirk and shake his head. Don't forget, I don't believe in fate or destiny. If people try hard enough, then they can forge their own destinies. I know that from experience. Said Naruto with a solemn smile, before looking at Tawa with a small smile, which she returned. Yeah, they can. Tawa said in agreement. Perhaps. Though it seems that fate always seems to bring the both of you together, perhaps that's a sign you lovebirds should take. Kirin stated with a smirk, causing Naruto and Tawa to blush and quickly look away from each other. No, it's no not l like th that. Stuttered Naruto, with Tawa rapidly nodding. Why ye yeah. We were just f friends th that look out f foe for each other. Tawa added, with Kirin laughing lightly. Of course. Now then, you'll be leaving town Tawa. Having found your long-lost sister, from what I heard, and wished to help her with some personal trouble. Is that true, Naruto? Kirin said while looking at the two. Yeah, it was really lucky that we met her, and that Tawa knew it was her sister, despite how long it's been. Though she's also had some trouble where she came from, and we offered to help her deal with it. Naruto replied, with him and Tawa being mentally grateful that they convinced Sota and Grandpa Higurashi to go with that. Rather than their original plan of using one of those convoluted, illness excuses that the latter used for Kagome, when she traveled to the feudal era. Papa Sota really is Grandpa Higurashi's grandson. Naruto and Tawa thought with deadpan expressions, still not believing that's what they planned to use as a cover story. Well, I wish you both the best in helping her. Though it's a shame to see both of you leave. Kirin said, saddened at seeing two of his students leaving, especially since he just reunited with Naruto. But before you both go, please stay for a moment while I go grab something. Said Kirin, before heading back into the school, confusing the friends at what he was getting before shrugging and waiting for him to return. With it not being long before Kirin returned, now holding a scroll in his hand. Here, this scroll has been in my family since the feudal era. It's a Kenjutsu scroll filled with everything they've learned and created, which I wish for you to have Naruto. Since it sounds like you're now using a sword again, I'd like you to inherit and learn from this. Said Kirin, holding the scroll out to the Uzumaki, much to Naruto's shock at being given something like this. I don't know what to say, thank you. I'll do my best to learn everything it has to offer. Naruto replied as he took the scroll. Don't just learn it, master it and improve it. And never forget to continue improving even after that. Kirin said, with Naruto nodding before he and Tawa took their leave, while waving at their teacher. That was surprising, I didn't think you would have known my teacher, or that he used to be your teacher. Stated Tawa while looking at Naruto in surprise, with Naruto nodding in agreement, since it was surprising. Yeah, he helped me a lot after what happened with Shisui and when I was expelled from Yugao's dojo. I probably would have ended up like the assholes we beat up if I hadn't met Kirin and he helped me become better with his teachings. He's actually the closest thing I have to a father. Naruto replied, surprising Tawa again before she smiled, glad that her friend had someone to look up to and guide him after he already lost so much. Though as the two left, Kirin watched both Naruto and Tawa leave, knowing that even if they're leaving town, they'll be meeting again. Though when that time comes, they'll be meeting me in person. Thought Kirin while pushing his glasses up, showing a hint of his green eyes. Feudal Era. While unknown to everyone, within his ship, the Beast King and Lord of the Eastern Lands Korinmaru opened his eyes. Despite being over thousands of years old, Korinmaru appears as a young man with a violet suit of armor, a red belt across his waist, and a golden plate on his left shoulder. He wears lavender clothes underneath, darkened reddish pants, and black battle boots, with golden adornments. He wears a pair of armored gauntlets decorated with the same adornments as his boots and a white dog-shaped mask with several markings, leaving only his left green eye visible, along with the blue marks on his cheek. He has pointed ears, which are hidden due to his mask, and bulbous, long, red hair. And expectedly from a bestial daiokai, he has sharpened nails of a grayish-purple coloration. Fate truly is ironic. To think Toga's granddaughters would meet and befriend a descendant of that creature. Korinmaru stated, seeing the irony of who Naruto was descended from, yet had befriended all three of Toga's granddaughters. Even more so, that all three of them seemed to be developing feelings for the boy as well. I wonder, what would you have thought of such a situation, if you were still alive, you'd probably laugh and even encourage them. Said Korinmaru, wondering how his old rival would have reacted to this, before laughing slightly since Toga would just laugh at the irony. Though we'll soon see how much power you inherited from your ancestor, or if you'll prove to be an even greater challenge. Korinmaru thought, interested to see if his rival's granddaughters inherited his strength, like his sons, as well as if Naruto possessed the same power as his ancestor or proved to be even stronger. Modern Era. Higurashi Kondo. Meanwhile, it wasn't long before Naruto and Tawa arrived at the Higurashi Kondo, with the Uzumaki helping the sisters with some last-minute packing. What were you two doing that took so long to get here? Said Setsuna, since it took Naruto and Tawa longer to get back, due to dealing with Amy and talking to Kirin. Nothing you need to worry about, Setsuna. Unless you're worried that we found something else we wanted to do, before leaving. Naruto replied, while smirking at the demon slayer. Yet that wouldn't be surprising. As you seem to have a habit of creating diversions from what's important. Setsuna retorted, though without her usual annoyance. I'm just making sure you get as much relaxation as you can, Setsu. After all, I'm sure you'll be back to being all broody and serious in the feudal era. Said Naruto, making the rabbinette narrow her eyes at him. If by that, you mean responsible, then yes. Perhaps you'll be able to learn it, while we're there. Stated Setsuna. Ah, isn't that sweet, the puppy wants to make sure I'm responsible. I knew you cared, Setsu. Naruto said teasingly, with Setsuna's eye twitching at his words. Yeah, I care about not having to worry about making sure you don't get into trouble. Said Setsuna, which only made Naruto grin. And you worry too. I knew we were getting close, Setsu. Stated Naruto, with the demon slayer rolling her eyes as she continued her packing. Not even in your dreams. Setsuna retorted, with the Uzumaki simply smirking at her. Once the three finished packing, they headed into the living room, where they saw Sota, Mo, and Mei. Are you three all set? Sota asked, with the sisters and Naruto nodding in response. Yeah, we've got everything and are ready to head out. Replied Tawa, with Mei sniffling and looked close to crying. It's not fair. I don't want Tawa or Naruto to leave. I want them to stay. Mei said, upset that her adopted sister and brother figure were leaving, but also knowing they had to leave. Mei, it'll be alright. I promise we'll come back as soon as we can. Said Tawa kneeling down and hugging her sister, with Naruto nodding in agreement. Yeah, besides, we'll be looking out for each other to make sure we stay safe, so there's nothing to worry about. We'll be back before you know it. Naruto added, smiling at the girl as he knelt down and hugged her as well. None of them noticing a crow taking flight, just outside of the condo, letting out a cry as it flew away. Why you promise? Mei asked while looking at the two, with Naruto and Tawa smiling at her. I promise, nothing will stop us from coming back. Tawa said, knowing they'll come back once they've completed their goals. It may not be for a while, but no matter, we'll come back. Said Naruto, making the girl smile. I may return as well, to learn more about the modern era. Setsuna added, much to Mei's happiness that Setsuna will return as well. Thank you. Said Mei, hugging them before giving Naruto a peck on the cheek, much to his, Tawa, and Setsuna's shock. And I promise, I'll work hard to become a woman you can proudly marry, Naruto. Mei said, wanting to become someone Naruto will be proud to marry, much to the trio's disbelief, while Sota and Mo laughed lightly at their dumbfounded expressions. We should get going. Naruto said quickly, with Tawa and Setsuna nodding in agreement, eager to get to the Higurashi shrine and travel to the feudal era. Please, please, please anyone. Please let it be that I wasn't like that. Setsuna mentally prayed to every deity she could think of, whether they were Buddhist, Hindu, or Shinto, she prayed to them that she wasn't like that with Tawa. Knowing she would never be able to live it down, and even worse, Naruto and Moroha would never let her forget it. Later. After they finished packing, Naruto, Setsuna, and the Higurashi family went to the Higurashi shrine, where they already saw Moroha, Grandpa Higurashi, and Mrs. Higurashi waiting by the Tree of Ages. With Naruto momentarily heading to his room, to grab his backpack and suitcase as well. Moroha, Naruto, the Elders Association would like to give you both a parting gift. said Grandpa Higurashi, handing them both bags of feudal era money. Thank you, we'll be sure to put it to good use. Naruto said, thankful for the offer, knowing they'll need everything they can get in the feudal era. Hey, that's awesome. Give them my regards, will ya? Said Moroha, eager for more money and thankful for the gift. Moroha. If you see Kagome, please tell her I said hi. Mrs. Higurashi said, smiling at her granddaughter, hoping that her daughter was happy with Inuyasha in the feudal era. Yeah, you got it. Moroha replied awkwardly, since she still doesn't really know her mother, or where she and her father are. Before she looked at Naruto, when he put a hand on her shoulder and nodded, making Moroha smile at remembering his promise to help her find her parents. I can't believe we're sending off a once-in-500-year prodigy to the feudal era. Just promise you'll take care of that violin. Said Mo, saddened at sending Setsuna back to the feudal era, with her talent. Yes, I will, and thank you. And I'll play on nights, I can't sleep. Setsuna replied, thankful for her gift and teaching her how to play the violin. I'm going now, said Tawa while looking at her adoptive father and sister. Take care of yourself. Sota replied while smiling at her, remembering when he first found Tawa in this same spot as a little girl, now seeing her return to her original era. I'll miss you. Come back, okay. All four of you better come home. Said May, wanting to make sure they didn't forget their promise, with Tawa smiled at her sister before picking her up and hugging her. Yeah, we'll do our best to come back, I promise. Tawa said before setting her down as she, Setsuna, Moroha, and Naruto went up to the Tree of Ages. Alrighty, let's get this show on the road. Stated Moroha, before pulling out her compact and opening it. Hey, Root Head. It's time you kept your end of the deal. Open a portal to the feudal era. Naruto said to wake up the demon. That's right, and here's 3 things you can't get in this era. 3 rainbow pearls, chock full of demon power. You want 'em, come and get them. Moroha added, holding up her compact as the red pearl glowed brightly, along with the gold and silver pearls in Setsuna and Tawa's eyes. For a moment nothing happened, until the wind began blowing with Roothead letting out a roar as the Tree of Ages started glowing. Fine. We have a deal. Shouted Roothead before a pillar of rainbow light shot up from the tree before a rainbow corridor opened up in front of them. Okay, this is it. Said Moroha, eager to return to the feudal era. It's the same as before. Tawa said, seeing the portal was the same as when Setsuna and Moroha first arrived, along with when she was a child. Though Moroha and Setsuna's eyes widened when their backpack and violin were pulled through the portal. You should have kept a better grip on your stuff. Naruto said, while tightening his grip on his suitcase and grabbing one of the straps of his own backpack, to ensure that he doesn't lose them. That's my backpack. Damn it. Give it back. Moroha shouted as she and Setsuna jumped through the portal. Hey, wait you two. Said Tawa, not wanting them to get lost by jumping in separately. Come on, we don't want to get left behind. Naruto said while jumping through as well, with Tawa following after giving a last goodbye to her family. Naruto and Tawa looked around the rainbow corridor in awe at what it looked like, with Tawa having vague memories of passing through it as a child. Out of curiosity, how exactly did you get Roothead to agree to open a portal for us? You aren't actually going to let him have the rainbow pearls, are you? Questioned Setsuna, knowing they had to offer something big, in return for a portal back to the feudal era. Oh, we did offer him the rainbow pearls, you 3 have. Revealed Naruto, much to the twins' shock at hearing this. You did what? Tawa said, not believing they'd actually give the demon their rainbow pearls, especially after how powerful Mistress Three Eyes became after getting Moroha's and Setsuna's. Relax, we didn't actually plan on giving Roothead the rainbow pearls. Not that he has to know that. Moroha said with a smirk, much to their relief, only for Tawa to not be sure about tricking Roothead like that and going back on their word. I know what you're thinking, Tawa. While I usually prefer keeping my word and not break a promise, right now, it's a necessary evil. Said Naruto, making the silverette sigh before reluctantly nodding. Besides, if it comes down to it, I have no problem killing him. Moroha added, knowing it'll just be another bounty she can collect. The 2 of you will be the death of me. Stated Setsuna, while letting out a sigh. Though suddenly, the group saw a bright light ahead of them, before they suddenly fell out of the rainbow corridor and into what looked like a cave made of roots. Are we in the feudal era? Questioned Tawa while looking around, before they started walking ahead to try and find an exit. No, something's off, replied Moroha, knowing they should have come out, right in front of the Tree of Ages in the Feudal Era. Do you think Roothead is trying to mess with us, and dropped us somewhere else? Naruto said, thinking Roothead went back on their deal. Whatever happened, stay alert and ready. Up ahead, Setsuna said, feeling something was off, before they came out into a large cavern with a glowing ball of light, surrounded by roots. What is that thing? Moroha asked in surprise, having not seen something like that before the group tensed when particles of light emerged and condensed together into a person, a woman. It was a beautiful pale-skinned woman with long black hair, that was tied into a low loose ponytail by a white ribbon, with bangs hanging above over her forehead and brown eyes. With her wearing the traditional attire of a Miko. But what really had the group's attention, was that the woman was glowing purple and looked to be see-through. I have been expecting you, half-demon princesses, said the woman, surprising them at what she just said. What do you mean? Are you referring to the three of us? Questioned Setsuna, holding her naginata at the ready, with Naruto, Tawa, and Setsuna grabbing their swords, or Bakken in Naruto's case, ready to draw them. This isn't Roothead, is it? Tawa asked quietly, with Moroha and Naruto shaking their heads. I doubt it, I don't sense any demonic energy, like from us. Replied Naruto. Yeah, I can't really tell what she is. Moroha added, unable to get a feel for who or what this woman was. Tell us who you are. Setsuna demanded, wanting to get answers. I am the Tree of Ages. Revealed the tree, much to the group's surprise before they relaxed slightly. Is the Tree of Ages supposed to look like a priestess, or what? Questioned Moroha, not expecting the tree to look like a priestess. No. This is merely a borrowed appearance. The form you see before you was created from the spirit of the arrowhead, from the arrow of sealing that was embedded in my trunks. I believe the name of the priestess to whom it belonged was Kikyo. The tree explained. Kikyo. Moroha muttered, testing the name. Are you the one who summoned us to this place? Said Setsuna, wanting to get back to the matter at hand. Yes, I am. I have a request, daughters of Sesshomaru. Now listen. There is a demon I would like you to slay, the Beast King Kurinmaru. He's attempting to twist time and swallow this world into the degenerate era and return it back to nothingness. Kurinmaru is a king, who alongside the Inu no Daiokai, had long reigned over the demon beasts. Kurinmaru ruled in the east, meanwhile the one who held power in the west was your grandfather, the Inu no Daiokai. Equal in strength, the two warriors ruled their lands while keeping watch over each other to maintain the balance of power. However, your father Sesshomaru renounced his birthright to the Inu no Daiokai title, walking his own path instead. Taking that as an opportunity, Kurinmaru plots to plunge this world into devastation. The power to travel across time would be a necessary ability in order to stop him. Explained the tree, with the group listening in shock to what she said. And that's where we come in. Tawa stated, given they could time travel using their rainbow pearls or through the Tree of Ages. That's correct. As ones with ties to the Inu no Daiokai, you three are the world's best hope to slay Kurinmaru. So, half-demon princesses, will you accept? Questioned the tree. I refuse. Setsuna said immediately, not interested in going after Kurinmaru, simply because of who she's related to. You will not take up the task. The tree asked. I will not. You say you chose us because of our father, Sesshomaru. Then it's not our business to atone for his failures. If Kurinmaru is to die, then Sesshomaru can deal with him. We won't help you, said Setsuna, refusing to fix her father's failure. I'm afraid that is impossible. Sesshomaru cannot defeat Kurinmaru, that is because these two beast kings are currently walking the same path. Defeat Kurinmaru and Sesshomaru will emerge. Similarly, defeat Sesshomaru and Kurinmaru will. In other words, you must defeat them at the same time. This is not an atonement on Sesshomaru's part, what I am asking of you is to defeat two demons walking down the wrong path. Said the tree. Okay lady, I'm gonna stop you right there. The wrong path, is that because what they're doing is wrong or it's because you say it is? Exclamation mark. Even if Sesshomaru is a deadbeat dad that never raised Tawa and Setsuna, he's still their father and they deserve to get answers from him, if they do find him. The same with Moria, to get answers if he knows what happened to Inuyasha and Kagome. But you're still asking his own daughter and his niece to kill him. Demanded Naruto, while glaring the Tree of Ages. Naruto's right. Even if we've never met him, we won't do your bidding to kill Sesshomaru or this Kurinmaru. Tawa added, refusing to be told to go kill her father. Well, when you put it like that. Yeah, I'm gonna have to say no to killing dear old Uncle Sesshomaru. Said Moroha, having been tempted to agree if it meant getting a large bounty for Korinmaru's head, but she wasn't gonna go after her uncle, if he did have answers to where her parents are. I don't know about any of that. But either way, we won't be your puppets to go after Korinmaru or Sesshomaru. Stated Setsuna, still not interested in doing anything the tree asks. The Tree of Ages looked at the group for a few moments, before her attention turned to Naruto, a complete oddity that she'd never encountered before. Having been expecting Tawa, Setsuna, and Moroha to eventually traveled through her to the Feudal Era. But for Naruto, the tree never saw him before, and ever since his appearance, her visions have grown muddied. And just who are you, that a single meeting between you and Tawa could have stopped me from seeing the future? The tree wondered, having never encountered someone like Naruto, who could muddy her visions. Well, you heard us, lady. We aren't doing a damn thing you say, now either leave or put us back in the Rainbow Corridor, so we can get to the Feudal Era. Said Naruto, with the girls nodding in agreement, wanting to get back to their task. It seems you are unfamiliar with the consequences of disobeying the Tree of Ages. Very well, but know this, fate is a continuous cycle. We will meet again. Awaken, Root's head. The rainbow pearls you desired are going to elude your grasp. The tree said, before emitting a bright light as she sent them to where Root head was located. Hey, are you guys okay? Tawa asked after the light vanished, only to see they were in a different location. Where are we now? Said Setsuna in annoyance at being in another location. Oh shit. Naruto said, drawing his bakken at seeing where they were. Of all the places the Tree of Ages could have sent us, she delivered us right to Root head. Said Moroha while drawing Kurakaramaru. We had a deal. Now hand over the 3 rainbow pearls. Root head demanded, wanting the rainbow pearls he was promised. So, this is Root head. Setsuna stated, holding her naginata up. Sorry you overgrown weed. But the deal's off, you didn't send us to the Feudal Era, so no pearls for you. Said Naruto while smirking at the demon. Then I'll kill you where you stand. Shouted Root head as he launched multiple roots at them. Cyclone burst. Setsuna said, spinning her naginata and creating a large vortex, which cut through the roots. Tawa drew her sword as the energy blade came alive, the silverette shouting as she swung it, unleashing an energy wave, destroying more of the roots. Getsuga Tensho. Said Naruto, swinging his bakken, releasing a black and red wave of demonic energy, destroying the roots. Crimson Dragon Wave. Moroha shouted, swinging her sword, unleashing the dragon-shaped energy wave that destroyed more of the roots. There's no end to it. Said Tawa, swinging her sword as more roots just kept coming. Root head should have a weak spot. If we can find it, muttered Setsuna, knowing if they could find his weak spot, they can kill him, before Root head let out a shout as a pulse shot out of his eye, causing Tawa and Naruto's swords to lose their demonic energy. What's going on? My Kikujumanji is fading. Tawa said as she tried recreating her sword, only for nothing to happen. I can't strengthen my bakken either. Said Naruto, unable to channel more demonic energy into his sword. Your demon powers are being drained, that's not good. Stated Moroha, seeing they wouldn't be able to keep fighting before Naruto suddenly realized what that meant. If we can't use demonic energy, then what about spirit energy? Naruto said, making Moroha's eyes widen before she grinned and grabbed her bow. Good idea. Moroha said, drawing an arrow and charging it with her spirit energy while Naruto held his hand like a gun and aimed it at Root head's eye. Spirit gun. Said Naruto, shooting a blast of white and blue spirit energy at Root head. Heavenly Arrow Barrage. Said Moroha, firing her arrow, which split into dozens, with all of them homing in on Root head. The 2 attacks slamming into Root head's eye, making him cry out in pain at the spirit energy hitting him, with Naruto and Tawa regaining access to their demonic energy. Yes, our power's back. Said Tawa, smiling as her sword came alive again. Then let's hit him all at once. Scourge of Swallows. Setsuna said, swinging her naginata up, releasing a wave of green energy swallows at Root head. Heavenly Arrow Barrage. Said Moroha, firing another barrage of arrows, which also revealed Root head's weak spot under his eye. Naruto, Tawa. Aim right under his eye, that's the weak spot. Moroha said, Naruto and Tawa nodding. Right. Getsuga Tensho. Said Naruto, swinging his sword again, releasing a wave of white and blue spirit energy at Root head. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Don't hesitate. Tawa shouted, swinging her sword and releasing a large wave of demonic energy that transformed into a large blue dragon, much to the shock of Setsuna and Moroha. What the? Setsuna said, not expecting Tao's attack to transform like that. Her demon power turned into a blue dragon. Moroha said in surprise. The two attacks combined together, forming a massive dragon that roared as it crashed right into Root Head's weak spot, the demon crying out in pain and agony at the attack, before he was vaporized. With the group finding themselves back in the rainbow corridor, falling through it until they came out and landed on the ground. Only for Moroha to grunt in pain, when her backpack landed on top of her, while Setsuna smiled at seeing her violin came back as well. Are you okay down there, Moroha? Naruto asked, with the quarter demon weakly giving a thumbs up before he helped move the bag off her. This is the feudal era, huh? Questioned Tawa, while looking around. Setsuna said Kohaku as he, Hisui, and Kaide ran over to the group, relieved to see Setsuna was back. You're back, Hisui said in relief that his friend was back. We're glad to see you're safe. Kohaku stated, while glancing at the rest of the group curiously, only recognizing Moroha. I am, and I finally managed to return. Replied Setsuna, glad to be back in her own time. Thank goodness for that, said Kohaku, with Kaide looking at the tree, no longer sensing Roothead's presence within it. What happened to Roothead? I can't sense his demon energy, anymore. Kaide said. We killed that crusty old wed. Revealed Moroha, glad to see her stuff made it through with them, while Kaide and the demon slayers were surprised by this. You did what? Is that really true? Kaide asked in disbelief, while Naruto and Tao's eyes widened as they realized what that meant. If we killed Roothead, how are we going to get back to the modern era? Tao questioned in concern if that meant they were now stuck in the feudal era. I'm not sure. But there's nothing we can do about it, and I doubt the overgrown weed would have even kept helping us, after refusing to give him the rainbow pearls. So, all we can do now is move forward. Naruto said, also concerned, but knowing there's nothing they can do about it, before putting a hand on Tao's shoulder. But don't worry, we'll find a way to get back to the present, somehow. After all, who knows what we'll encounter and find here. Added Naruto, given they'll be encountering demons and who knows what else in the feudal era, so there had to be other means of time travel somewhere, if not in Japan, then somewhere else in the world. With Tawa nodding in agreement while her spirits were eased, knowing there had to be other ways they could get back. For now, they'll focus on the task at hand and find the dream butterfly. To be continued.